welcome to another fun-filled, exciting episode of the ClevelandMoto Podcast. Now brought to you in lifelike video.
In stereo.
Video. Yeah, so, I mean, how cool is this now? Again, Steve, thank you, bringing us up into the I think at this point we've achieved 1970s level of broadcasting. We are now broadcasting in stunning 1080p.
Yeah. We could do 4K.
No, we couldn't.
You shouldn't do 4K.
This is a 2-hour fucking podcast.
Well, this is not the crowd to do 4K, though.
No, you're right. 4K would show off all the...
Yeah, it needs some makeup.
A lot.
Exactly.
We just got a UHD TV, and we don't like it one bit.
No.
It's like way too like,
Right.
whoa.
Yeah, because now everybody's a fucking oncologist.
Especially if you do like 60 frames per second, it just...
Yeah, but once I put the puppy dog filters and everything on us all.
Oh, God. Don't.
Just occasionally a tongue's going to come shooting out of my mouth for no fucking reason. Snapchat
Just licking the mic.
bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because we are broadcasting not only on audio, you guys are finding us out wherever you buy your podcasts, but we also are dropping this on our YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube, Cleveland Moto, we have a channel there, and we're going to, for the very first time ever, we're going to publish the video, the zombie feed, not live, but zombie feed. It won't be edited. It'll just be up there for you guys to enjoy it. And for people who do want to watch or see what it looks like when we record a podcast, that's fantastic. To my immediate left is
Oscar?
and
Michael.
Michael's. And Michael, you got here early, by the way.
Well, here's the beauty of my job is sometimes that 1 hour service call goes 2 hours,
Right.
and sometimes it goes 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And so you get the average of the pricing through the week, no matter who you are. It's a very democratic system.
It is a different.
So I showed up.
Socialist labor rates.
I showed up to what I anticipated being a longer call, and I was only there for about 5
Hey,
minutes.
that's fantastic, man. Because I looked out and I saw your van. I saw the van and I was like, wow, a nondescript Econoline. These are my people.
But it's got a CD sticker in the back. You must be okay.
And I saw the ADV
That
sticker in the
pretentious
back, and I was like, oh, look at that. He's one of us. And I was like, oh, I bet you that's his new van.
I left my card on the door in case you were going to get it towed.
Oh,
At least
yeah,
you'd
I
know
think
where to send the bill.
I think you're good. There's not much getting towed out of here, man.
Thank you.
And to his left,
Johnny Mac.
John Mackelfresh brought us sauerkraut.
Yeah.
And kielbasa.
We're gonna have the gas cast.
It is going to be a gas test, dude. It is, and you know what? I already had
Smell-o-vision.
one.
There you go.
Yeah, and I had one, and they're delicious. Yeah, they're good. So they're sitting in the crock pot right now. And that's a podcast-approved food because it's not crunchy. Right?
There's a snap to it, though.
There's a good snap. Yeah, the skins are good. And to his left,
Dan Kromke.
Dan, what did you bring us tonight?
I bought us a selection of German Krauter liquors.
Now,
German bitters.
I saw a picture. Was it your shopping cart at Binny's?
Yes.
In Chicago. And for people who don't know Chicago, Binny's is the Costco, Toys R Us awesomeness of liquor. And you can buy any kind of liquor you want. You can buy liquor in an AK-47 bottle. We've done. I ended up with
much cheaper than liquor is in Ohio as
It
well.
is, and I have a Binny's card. So because I had to go on an away mission one time for Porco, and I ended up having to get us some Cheerwine, and I couldn't get it in Ohio. I had to get it in Binny's, and it is fun to roll out of there with the cart. Like you had that cart, man. That thing was like $2,000.
Actually, it was under
value.
1,000.
God, man.
Which is, I expected it to be over. It was only like $750
Fuck.
for what I had.
That is a party, though.
For a full card?
That was a
Did they
full-on
give you
party.
any?
Jim Beam was on sale. $19.95 for a 1.75 liter.
Are you shitting me? That's insane.
And we
Was it
bought-
just basically all the Beam varietals? All their 80 proofs?
No, just the regular Beam.
Straight up Beam.
right.
Regular Beam. Yep. Oh, and we have
Got a late-
Steve Hoffert showing up in a
to my
very timely
left-
fashion.
On his scooter.
And he's wearing fucking pants. It must be cold out
Oh,
there.
no.
Did you get your scooter fixed?
Which one?
And he's going to get the shame mic.
You busted a light last time I
Yeah.
saw you.
One of your landing lights went out on your Hovercraft.
No, I read the passport.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, you get the shame mic.
Yeah.
Noise.
Yeah, that's going to be that's the,
You got to
whoever comes in last gets the mic of shame, which is that little.
and you
short
pretty much
microphone
have to put it in your face to be
to be
recognized.
heard.
I don't want to be heard.
You totally need to be
Sat in
heard.
the right place.
Well, but our podcast tonight, you might be the most qualified person for one of our podcast topics tonight.
Right.
So you might be the ringer in the room because you have more experience than a lot of us do, including myself.
So we'll be talking shit tonight.
So we'll be talking some mad shit. Yeah. Have a little. So, okay. So, Daniel, I'm sorry we cut you off. So, you brought tonight, let's go right to left or go palatable to not palatable.
First one is called Cabane's Half Bitter.
Cabane's Half Bitter.
Is that what we're drinking right now?
That's what we're drinking right
this
now.
is
really
It's
good.
a 64 proof German herbal liqueur.
It is, yeah.
Super smooth. Yeah.
The next one in line is the Kummerling. It's another German herbal liqueur, little more potent alcohol-wise and herb-wise.
Okay.
Then the Black Forest Devil, which is like 102 proof. It's one of the higher.
Giddy up. Wow.
And
Okay.
then
All right. I approve. And then
Steve's request, I bought him a bottle of Malort from
God
Chicago.
damn fucking Malort about it.
Anybody who's ever tried Malort knows what faces we're going to make later
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
Malort. Because these pants won't shit themselves.
Oh, my Lord. Oh.
Oh my
My
lord.
favorite of these is the Kummerling.
Okay.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
It smells
friend-
really good.
My friend Tim and I have had people bring this back for us from Germany because
Oh,
you can't
really?
get this in the U.S.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
That's
it's funny because the first time we did it, the woman who got it for us, she's like, "You're sure that's what you want?" Kummerling.
Oh,
We're
she
like,
gave you a right of
it's-
refusal.
We really like it.
Yeah.
That's what I want. She says, "You're positive," and we got it.
Yeah.
So then, about 4 years later, my friend Tim goes to Germany and he's in the liquor store and he sees it. So he's got like 4 bottles and he's checking out, and the guys are laughing their ass off
Right.
at him. And he's like, "All right, what's going on? What?"
Right.
Everybody gives me a hard time when I buy this stuff. They're like, "Dude, that's what the German bums drink. That's
Yeah,
like
it is.
German Mad Dog
I was thinking
2020."
that.
Yeah, it is a step way down from
I
the
think it's
Jägermeister.
really good, though. I mean, I think German bums have really good taste.
So wait, so
That's probably true. Yeah.
when you buy $800 worth of alcohol at this store, do they give you anything for free? Like, do
I
they,
think we got a 10% discount on the Jim Beam cases we bought.
Okay, all right, we get something, right?
They might help you load your car.
Did they have to put every bottle in a little brown bag?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that would be super special. Because they're all travelers. I mean, every single one of them is going to be a traveler. So that's fantastic. And Cinch,
Yes, Steve's
So-
sleeping right here.
come on, man. Look at what you've done. Look at this. I mean, you got to be happy with this, right?
Well, as you know,
Yeah.
if I get into something,
You really fucking
I
get
get into it. And
yeah.
like I was a recording engineer for 25 years, and the podcast is great because it's the blow off for all of us on Fridays. You get to hang
it
out,
is.
talk motorcycles, dumb stuff. But there were times when I couldn't listen to it, and I wanted to, and so we had to do something.
I love the fact that you didn't fix it for us. You fixed it for you.
Yeah, right.
I approve. I approve of that. Yeah.
A selfish act.
Oh, yeah, I do want to try this. So this is...
Never listen to this thing.
I've never listened to it.
Imagine,
Kummerling. Krauter liquor.
Everyone over here.
imagine you're a bum in the middle of winter on the streets of Berlin.
I'm
All you
imagining
got,
that.
all you got here is your Kummerling to
You know
keep
what?
you warm up and warm your cockles.
Yeah, that gets right to the cockle. And as Dennis Lear would say, to the subcockle region. Yep. Even to the liver, the kidneys, maybe even the spine.
I didn't get that, but the first one,
so good.
it has a bit like if you just let it linger for a minute,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like you just brushed your teeth.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
My
wait
tongue
till you
went
try
numb.
this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Kummerling is...
Oh, it's pretty good.
yeah, I like that. The Kummerling is a little more...
Gamey.
It's a little less sugary than Jägermeister,
Yep.
but I can understand the bus stop appeal.
Is there
Definitely
anus in it?
medicine.
Right,
You've
yeah.
just taken some medicine.
You've definitely had a little
Oh, yeah.
medicine. Yeah. You can tell that you're healthier because of it. And all those herbals,
There will be
all of
no coughing at this table tonight.
them. No, not tonight. Right. That's
Matter
going
of
to put a
fact, I
silence
did
to
have a
that
little
shit.
bit of a cold developing, so this is
And this is on target right now.
chasing the cronk away.
Been inoculated.
I'm sweating a little and growing a tail, but besides that,
Does anybody else have a forked tongue?
any cold.
I have a forked tongue. That's it. Anybody else got a forked tongue? I'm totally feeling the forked
So
tongue at the
as
moment.
far as the the level of force continuum here, we're working our way up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, down, I guess, if you're ending with
Yeah,
Malort.
that's kind of rough, but
Right. We're going to finish dark and dirty. So, yeah. So if you guys are interested, first one, as a result of the Patreon thing, which, that's happening, we've been getting some actual feedback from people who listen to this shit. Occasionally one of them, a little errant fucking idea, will wander into their brain box and they'll shake it around long enough and it'll fall out in the form of pixies or digital impressions on a sort of a digital papyrus. And here it is. And I love this. This is from Dave. I love how Dave makes sure to tell us where he's from and everything else. But Dave nails it. I love this. If brevity is the goal, see the subject line. If you only have 1.5 hours of content and thus need to fill more time, below is the long and boring version of the question. Let's go for long and boring. We've got time. It's early in the podcast. Dave says, I've owned and ridden a few bikes in the last decade. My alphabet soup in that time includes FZ6, R6, Ninja 650, Versys 650, Sportster 1200, GSX 650F, GS 500, Moto Guzzi V9, Moto Guzzi V7, Tenny Green Grezzo. Oh, you bastard. Currently for sale, by the way, Ducati Monster S2R 800 and a couple of vintage bikes. In retrospect, nothing has been better for me than the SV650 I sold 5 years ago. While there are certainly prettier bikes and better touring options, there aren't many that are dramatically quicker to 80 miles an hour, better handling once the shock is swapped and the emulators are installed, I agree, more fuel efficient, easier to farkle, cheaper, more reliable, and just plain fun. Tell me why I shouldn't buy another used SV650. I can't.
Got nothing.
Yeah.
I can't. I cannot fucking tell you why you shouldn't. And I honestly believe that there comes a point in every collector's arsenal of bikes where you're going to own that fucking go-to bike. That bike that you just, for some reason, it's just in your fucking lane, man. And I don't think I'll ever know Steve to not own something resembling an RV250. You always circle back to that SYM scooter. Yeah, that's going to happen. Or some kind of BMW touring bike, probably, at some point. But I mean, remember, Steve, we have cameras now. Oh, we have an camera, so it's okay.
Oh, I'm just trying to blow mics.
I think, yeah.
For those who aren't watching.
Right. For those who are just doing the audio.
Usually he's blowing John or blowing, but tonight he's blowing Mike.
Something. But yeah,
Blowing
man.
bubbles.
If especially since SV650s, even the fuel injected ones can be had for less than $2,500 or $3,000 Chinese scooter money. Fuck it, dude. Have one. Just have one. And if having one causes you to get rid of 3 things you're not riding, I'm seeing that list, and a lot of those bikes, I'll bet you he's maybe riding 1,000, 2,000 miles a year tops. Well, if you can get rid of a couple of those and put 4,000, 5,000 miles on the SV, which is going to cost you nothing in the long run.
But he doesn't say where he's at, right?
No, he doesn't. He's just on Earth. Yeah, that's it. He's just within email range. So, I didn't. I checked. There was no postmark on the envelope. So, fuck it. I don't know where he's from. But I say, yeah. Fucking if an SV blows your skirt up, have one.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
there's
have one.
forums about SV. Like, that's a cult bike. It's not a bad
absolutely.
bike. There's
And it
nothing wrong
deserved
with
it.
Yeah, right.
It absolutely deserves it. There's no getting around the fact that SV is a fucking solid bike. It's murder. There's one of the guys, Joe LeBlanc, who does give his fucking full name. Thanks. He says he's a big fan of the podcast for a long time, but I can't help wanting to hear some of the old garage podcasts. I know they may be lost in the R2 unit. Yep. But I think it would be a cool perk for Patreon and maybe get more people to commit. Thanks for years of entertainment and constantly blowing seals. Or.
We had that conversation a couple days ago.
And we're going to bring it out so that everybody who listens to the podcast can hear it from my lips to theirs.
Right.
The first 92 episodes are the lost episodes. Yeah. So if you're a fucking nerd and you got a real strong right clicker finger, right? And you know how the internet works better than I do, because it still baffles me daily. But if you can find it, we were on Amazon S3 and we were ClevelandMoto at blogspot.com. And if you can find our lost episodes, I would pay no small money to have them all back. So if anybody knows how to interrogate the internet, because come on, man, like isn't everything on the internet still on the internet? Isn't anything that's ever been?
All the crackle casts.
It's there.
Yeah, right.
It's somewhere.
Right.
So Phil, if I was a hacker that had an interest in purchasing a motorcycle,
Yeah.
you might offer a great price to somebody if they could bring you those episodes.
I'll tell you what, you show up with those episodes, or you get me those episodes in some way, shape, or form, and we'll make sure they get up on the Buzzsprout, and we'll have a real good time. Okay, this is the Black Force Devil.
Yeah.
I love
Got
that
a
shit.
little
When
bit
they're
of-
just like straight up, it's the Black Force Devil.
I
It has a
did.
little
I,
snap to it.
Yeah.
I did try at some point to go to the Wayback Machine to try to see if I can find them. I couldn't find them that way, but
Yeah.
there might be some other ways of actually trying to get.
Or maybe somebody knows somebody at Amazon
Right.
S3.
Well,
right?
yeah.
So that's that. We would love to have it back. And if somebody does want to reach out to us, remember, anything you ever want to send to us is clevelandmoto@gmail.com. We would love to have the first 92 episodes back. It'd be fun. And you know what? The first 8 or 10 of them are like this quality. They're actually listenable.
We were when we were in the
studio.
basement, in the studio.
Listening to our own
But we
fucking
couldn't
heartbeat.
smoke cigarettes, so we had to move up to the
Exactly.
garage.
Right. We couldn't get enough debauchery in the studio. So here we
This
are.
sucks. We can't go like an hour without drinking or smoking. And then have
To the
go-
garage.
You know what? We should drop the sound quality so we can smoke. That's yeah, I dig that. As far as I'm concerned, yeah, I would love to have those first episodes back. That'd be fucking great. And it'd be fun just to have them and bring them back because, you know, we reference in our podcast, we reference shit that happened during then too. So that'd be fun. That's a real deal.
Aren't they still on iTunes?
I don't know. But
Because they're updating on iTunes still.
are they? Well, all we
We
got.
should do it right now before they delete it.
Let's.
So I
Yeah.
thought they were on iTunes.
Okay, well that's a hell of a good thing to know because
You
I
can
mean,
download them and then they're the
Yeah.
files are have just numbers on them.
Yeah.
But you can figure out which files are
Yeah, you
which
can
and
transfer
rename
them.
okay, well I'm all about it. So that is mission number 1 is, you know, make us a Merry Christmas, give us 92 podcasts back because that'd be better than recording 92 podcasts.
I don't have enough room on my iPad.
He's got the rusty
Oh,
trombone.
look at how good your voice sounds when you're talking to a mic.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's the best. It is the absolute best.
Tell them how you really feel.
Like that's the first time you had an 8-inch object in front of your
your
lips.
face.
All right.
First time, really?
I'm talking to the stupid mic. I was telling Phil the other day, I'd rather be in the fucking ice cold garage with that stupid R2 unit,
Right?
watching people fall on the ground and shit themselves.
Multiple times.
This stuff's like overwhelming me.
It's overwhelming. And it is. And-
Mic drop.
Totally get it. And that's it. And we've had podcast listeners too that have written in and said like, "Yeah, man, it sounds amazing, but there's not as much shenanigans."
Debauchery, yeah.
Right. The debauchery's turned down.
Well,
so guess
Let me
what?
introduce you to my little friend.
I don't think the debauchery.
Here's the debauchery. Well, I will admit because
There's
look,
a transition
the first
period.
couple, right? The first few times we had the new gear, it's a little fucking overwhelming. So and it's very intimidating. It's like when you get together with a girl who really knows how to fuck, and you're like, "Well, I can't. I'm not going to do well at this at
I'm
all."
gonna need a bigger back seat.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
Or a guy. We don't discriminate.
Bring in the
Whoa,
stunt
whoa,
cock.
whoa.
All right. Oh man,
Pace yourself,
That's the
bro.
102 proof.
I love that.
I was working
Oh
on
my
some
God.
cocktails based on this.
Oh, that is so good. And you know what? That's not medicine.
No, that one's good.
That's fun.
shit.
That's real good.
That is like a holiday in a shot.
You know what? I'm going to take back everything I said. You can cure herpes. That'll make it go right away.
Not happy.
That's exactly it. You got it.
Keep rubbing it until it's gone.
Delicious.
Not with that.
No, I mean I don't know how he's gonna live.
I'd just like to point out that I'm the only original member of the podcast, too, by the way.
Are you?
You're the first one.
Big member.
What are you saying? This is the Motley Crue reunion tour at this point?
Somebody did ask. They were like, okay, so they call different people who listen, different podcast listeners, different things. Like Noco Moto they call their listeners something, and Wheel Nerds, whatever, Wheel Nerdians. But they were like, well, what are you going to call people listening to the Cleveland Moto podcast? And I was like, fuck it, obviously, man. Cleveland Motards.
The motards.
That shit's fucking obvious, man. I'm totally motarded. I get motarded every time I sit down here.
Cleveland
And
Mo Lives.
Mo Life's exactly.
Oh, no.
We know we're motarded. We had a short bus, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
We wear
With a
helmets.
special ramp and everything.
Yeah.
Not a ramp.
No. The lift. The
hydraulic.
hydraulic one, yeah.
We wear helmets. We got a special ramp. We got a special bus.
We're getting hit
We're
by
totally
the
motarded, man. That's it.
Everybody's beautiful.
Oh, fuck me running. Yeah, Cleveland Motards.
Yeah, their own
I like
way.
it. Get motarded. That's a t-shirt. Cleveland Moto Podcast. Get motarded.
Patreons. They
Fuck
want them.
that. That's your
T-shirt.
special. That's your gold
If
level.
you want, yeah.
Yeah, that's your gold level shit right
Somebody
there.
draw a scooter that looks like a short bus. A little ramp ass on
No,
it.
you know what? Scooters are the fucking short bus.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, in the world of
I was
motorcycles,
trying to be sensitive after
Yeah.
the fashion.
yeah, and that is fucking dead true right there. Yeah,
But also, scooters
you get no
never-
respect.
They never leave you. Like your workmate James is selling his Lambretta.
Yeah,
and it made my wiener curl up. And
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I was like, oh, how am I going to get money?
How do I buy this?
Yeah,
right. Because you have to adopt that fucking bike.
Right.
Because it's a
selling his
runabout.
Lambo?
He's selling his runabout.
Well, I saw it when he first put it out there on the Facebooks.
Yeah.
And then I saw another posting, and I'm like, wait, round 2 postings?
I know,
I
man.
would have never thought that it would have survived the first round.
And scooters are going for big money right now. So I've seen some stuff going for tall coin, actual proper
And he is
old
asking,
Like
vintage.
somebody just wanted to
reasonable
snap
coin.
it up and
Again.
flip it because he's not asking a lot of money
No.
for that.
No, he's asking SV650 money for it.
Well, and he posted,
Fuel-injected
he posted a
SV650
video
money,
today.
yeah.
The thing's been sitting for I don't know how long, and he kicked it twice, and it started right up, and it's fine. It's
Well,
like,
that's a Lambretta.
That's no. So this is the deal with not just Lambrettas, but when you get into the Cervettas, the end run for Lambrettas. So these bikes that are Spanish in origin,
Spain.
these bikes for some reason have an unnaturally good fucking heart. Like I don't know what it is. Joe, our buddy Joe, had a Performer, a Jet 200, which is basically an SX 200, the most desirable Lambretta ever. But then just, oh, it's the end of the run. Don't throw anything away. Ship it all to Spain, and we'll keep selling it under a different name. And Joe had abandoned the bike in his backyard for not like a year, like 3 years. And we were having a big rally in town, and I didn't want to be embarrassed by Joe's not running bike. So I was like, "Fuck it, Joe. Don't worry. I'm going to pick it up in my truck. I'm going to get it out of your backyard. I'm going to squeeze some new tires and tubes on it. We're going to go through it, clean the carb, make sure it doesn't embarrass us on the ride." I went in his backyard, gave it 3 kicks, and the piece of shit started. I can't get the DRZ to start.
Mike will tell you about like,
Did somebody say DRZ?
Yeah, those things, even with bad gas,
I
old gas,
know.
it doesn't care, man.
Well, it's
It's like an
they
old
just
diesel.
they're just fucking.
you
and
broke Mike. Mike's broken now.
Mike's done. You can't say DRZ around Mike without him just leaking a little urine out his pant leg. Just regrets back to the lizard brain. Yeah, just like I used to like motorcycles, and then I got a DRZ.
Or 3 of them, or whatever you
Followed
can.
for my son, it broke his heart. He may never talk to me again. Good thing I have more.
Shit.
Talk about bringing spares.
Oh fuck, man. When it comes to certain bikes that you can't heal, we were talking about it before the podcast. I was like, you know what you got to do is you just got to start stealing parts for that DRZ off of bikes that are already running, and eventually you'll steal the right part. You're going to work through, and like we used to have a rule around here with Kimco's that if a Kimco acted like it was the fucking carburetor, you replace the CDI. So if it gave you every symptom that it was a carburetor problem, hold on, wait, don't fucking remove the carburetor, replace the CDI. And 90% of the time, that was your answer. That was your deal. Because taking off a carburetor requires a little more time than literally unplugging and replugging in a CDI. So I think with your DRZ thing, you have to find somebody who has a running DR. Oh shit! Stop looking at my bike that way, dude. Quit. Oh my god! Wait a
Or
second.
whatever the fuck that is.
Hey, you
I'm
have.
looking my bike.
You know what? You have my permission. You have my permission to either take that to your healing bench or bring your healing bench here. And that one does run. You can ride that one. We got everything working on it.
Not contagious.
But I mean, I don't know what yours is if they're compatible mating partners, but but you can borrow anything off of that you need to diagnose yours. So because I'm not fucking riding it. I've owned the thing for 1.5 years, 2 years. Haven't fucking ridden it, so that's not happening anytime soon. So there's that. So anybody got anything hot they want to talk about? Because if not,
Anybody go to the Best
Triumph
of
World Tour?
British Triumph
I did not.
thing last night?
I went on the fucking, what do they call that? The Ticketmaster thing or whatever, Eventbrite, and I logged in and I registered and I got my secret, handshake or whatever to get in there. And I had some family emergency come up and I couldn't go. And
Well, it's about like you would have expected.
were you one of the first 70 people that got the
I
goodie
was
bag?
not, because I got caught in a 15-minute backup on I-77 from an accident.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
all right.
it turns out that
Yeah.
all they gave you was like a little tiny jar of beard oil,
Yeah.
a commemorative glass, and a
Cool.
bandana.
In a bandana.
That was
Okay.
it.
Was it dot approved? The bandana.
Whatever the Euro
And
version.
I'm here to tell you,
Yeah.
they unveiled the new Triumph Rocket 3
Rocket 3, right?
GT,
Yeah.
and it is still ugly as sin.
Get the fuck out of here! Really?
It looks better in pictures than it does in person.
Get out of
Because
here!
I mean, I like the
got
pictures
that
of it look pretty
same
sexy.
ugly radiator on the front, and it's got these. I don't know what they are,
isn't it
hanging off the forks to, I guess, for airflow around
All right.
the brakes.
But isn't it just known for being like super fast and touring? Like so, like they don't go for looks with that thing. It's just
Right.
badass.
I think it has more torque.
2300cc motor.
Yeah.
It should be
20
yeah, right.
everything. There should be power coming out of it everywhere.
2,500 now.
2,500 cc's. That's right. Yeah,
2,500?
yeah, it's
I stand
2,500 cc's. That is correct. Yeah,
Did they make sure that every dude that walked in had a wiener about
Holy
this big?
crap.
Ouch.
yeah. So
2.5 liters, right?
2.5 liters. That is more engine than 2.5 of my small cars, or literally,
A lot of four bangers are a 2.0.
or 3 of my K trucks.
The pictures are not that bad. The pictures are all right.
I dig the
Well,
gray thing.
that's the
Does it
thing.
suffer from boss house-itis?
I would dare any of you to ride this bike through more than 1/4 inch of water whilst wearing a white T-shirt.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. Because there is nothing in the way of keeping the puddles off of your body on this
Well,
motorcycle.
it does have the BMW splash guard.
It does. It does have the James Bond rear fender that is made of plastic, the
Yep.
hugger. Yeah. But I love that giant gap of space because the back of the passenger seat does not extend beyond the axle.
Yeah.
And that's a look. That's that Diavel has that look. A lot of things have had that. Even if we go way back to the old ZL 900 Eliminators, they had that same kind of look where it was like the back seat stopped in line with the fucking rear axle.
It's been docked. They
It's
cut
been
the tail
docked.
off.
It's been docked. Yeah, and I mean that's what that thing is.
I like the rear, the rest on the one.
The bitch pad.
Yeah.
The bitch pad.
Dude, that thing's not even like 3 inches tall.
No, but
Yeah.
you know what? It would
Yeah.
stop. You saw the video of the girl falling off on the Busa and getting stuck between the fat wheel and the thing.
Yeah.
It would stop that.
And you could actually on this bike, you could get fed into the eviscerator. If you slid off the bitch pad, you could end up losing everything from your fucking
going
vestigial
back into the-
tail
Oh, yeah.
all the way to your.
My teeth.
Oh man,
And instantly cauterized by those pipes.
you could lose it.
bleeding at all.
Imagine just taking a belt
wedged
sander to everything from your
Please.
tail
Everything, yeah.
to your belly button.
I once got my thigh stuck in a belt sander. That's enough.
What? Jesus
A 4-inch belt sander. I thought it was stopped, and I set it down instead of putting it on the bench. I rested on my leg. It sucked about 3 inches of my thigh, and I pulled my pants down. I thought I was bleeding to death. The most painful thing I've ever endured.
Sounds like
I mean, I haven't had an easy life. I'm just saying.
Life's been hard, man.
We
Just
used
gonna
to
let you know
ride
right
belt
now.
sander and shop glass.
Hey, now.
Ride it.
Yeah, they're a
baby.
huge industrial-sized belt sander.
Yeah,
It was
the
like
4-inch.
a 2-man belt sander.
Really?
You could actually get on it and sit on it, and then somebody would plug it in and be like,
We used to race
shoot
ours
you
on the
across
bench.
the shop.
Yeah, I've seen the belt sander racing where they make tracks and shit for it.
amazing.
It's basically Pinewood Derby with extension cords.
Yeah.
And it's rowdy. I mean,
should
it's
come back.
it is super rowdy. It is one of my favorite things in the world in the military is called buffer rodeo. And in the military, for some reason, you have to buff the floors. And so in the military, everybody who's ever been in the military knows about buffer rodeo. And there's 2 ways to ride a buffer. The first way to ride a buffer is coming straight at it. And then the second way is sit down chopper style. So if you sit down chopper style buffer rodeo. Now here's the thing about the buffer is you don't ever want to have all of your weight on the buffer head
Oh no.
because it disables
you're
the
gonna go
ability of the
fast,
buffer to do its only job. And when you put all your weight on the head of the buffer and you fold the little wheels up and you grab the ape hangers that a buffer comes equipped with, and you touch that throttle, the Marine in question, you can tell he's a Marine because he's violated
Camo,
2 rules. The first rule he's violated of being a Marine is 1, there's nobody else holding his cord. And if you don't have somebody standing on the bunk holding the cord above your head, you invariably get the cord wrapped around you, which means you are now tied to the buffer that's trying to kill you.
Go to the picture on
It's
top
like
of that
mountain
one.
biking in the 80s.
The guy that's going sideways.
The guy that's going sideways, you'll have to excuse me. But yeah, that's
Oh my God.
all of the buffer rodeo Now, this guy's wearing a Kevlar. He's wearing a K-pot. He's wearing his Kevlar. He's standing. Now, he's doing the standing technique, and he does have somebody holding his cord for the buffer rodeo. So when he hits the gas, he's got the he's in more the Segway position than the live to ride to buff position. And so in the Segway position, what's going to happen is he's going to hit the gas, and that cord is going to tie him to the buffer. Now, here's the fun thing, is when the cord breaks, which they always do, the pilot of the buffer who's holding this metal buffer gets electrocuted fast, like real quick. I've happened to me 2 or 3 times because the cord just goes into the control thing at the top. And, of course, you're spinning around real fast. And the guy who's holding the cord can't get you fed cord fast enough. And then, you pound your soldier. Your soldiers usually weigh about 170 pounds. The buffers go about 65, 70 pounds. You get a lot of rotational mass, and it just rips the fucking cord. And you get some electrocutions with buffer rodeo.
It goes from being a motor to a stator.
It does, yes, it does. So yeah, if you ever do get a chance, and anyone asks you if you want to do some buffer rodeo,
Say no.
I'd say that's a Texas size 10-4, good buddy. Yeah, I think you do that because that is a good thing.
Just prepare appropriately, and you'll be fine.
Well, the guy's wearing his K-pot, so the fact that he's wearing his headgear tells me he's probably in the National Guard, because a real buffer rodeo rider will not wear safety equipment.
Shameful.
Yeah, that's shameful. Yeah. If you want to give yourself an Article 15 and not have to do PT for the next 30 or 40 days, don't be fucking riding your fucking buffer with with protective gear on. I mean,
Or get diesel on you when you're burning shit.
that's true too.
Either one will get you.
It's a smell. It's a smell. It's a thing. It's a thing you don't forget. They say scent brings you back. So who in this room has ever bought a motorcycle brand new from the dealership? Like went into a dealership and bought a motorcycle that wasn't a used motorcycle. I know I have. Have you ever bought a brand new motorcycle?
The Hoff.
Right. And so what we're going to talk about is because we are in a motorcycle dealership right now, and that's what we do is we sell motorcycles.
Wake up.
So Steve is probably the last person that actually bought brand
Right,
new.
because Cameron's not here. Steve Hofford is probably the last person to buy a brand new motorcycle.
The monkey or the...
I'm probably the last person to sell a brand new motorcycle, but there is a certain voodoo with buying new motorcycles. And the biggest thing that I want to stress is if you're buying a motorcycle at a dealership, and the dealership's been open for like more than a year, you are not going to win. You're going to think you won. But if your goal was to deprive them of any profit and to, quote, I really beat them up on that deal, you might feel like you beat them up on that deal. But I liken it to saying, you know what? I'm going to go and fight an MMA fighter, but he's only been an MMA fighter for about 1 year. And I'm going to get in the cage with him, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to teach him a thing or two about being an MMA fighter. I got this.
Hold my checkbook and watch this.
Exactly, right. Because this is what I want to do. Well, the first thing to say is if it's at a dealership, the whole idea behind the dealership is in order for them to be there, to give you the ability to do all the things that people do at dealership, and only about 1% of that is buying motorcycles. But the ability to stay open and do that, you have to make profit on every single bike you sell. And there was a joke somebody once told me that said, we lose a little on every deal, but we make it up in volume. And that doesn't exist, man. If you think that there's a dealer out there that is willing to lose money on a bike, or that you've talked them into losing money on a bike, there is also no fucking Santa Claus, right?
What?
Yeah, I know, exactly. So, and you're going to start talking about, well, but I know the difference between list price and invoice price. And I know that, and I've listened to Oprah, and I can tell you, I know how to buy a car, and I know to negotiate, and I know to pay under list, and I know about dealer holdback money. You don't know about shit. You really don't. Because, especially when you're talking about motorcycle dealerships, because motorcycle dealerships are not car dealerships, not in any way, shape, or form. It is a completely different ethos between a motorcycle dealership and a car dealership. People who have worked in car dealerships and understand the way that works are terrified about the way motorcycle dealerships work. It is pirate times. It is the Wild West out here.
But Phil, you're a motorcycle dealer.
Yep.
And it sounds like you're trying to talk me out of going to a motorcycle dealer.
I'm telling you that you can go to a motorcycle dealer, and there's a lot of really, really good reasons to go to a motorcycle dealership.
But understand, they got to make some money.
Don't fool yourself.
There's some rules.
The first thing is cleanse your soul. Do not go in there and think you're going to win. If you go in there with a strategy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, and consequently, I'm going to use all my grandfather's tricks, and I'm going to win.
It sounds like marriage.
Jedi mind tricks.
Yeah, whatever it is. I've read a book. I've gone to a website. I've watched a YouTube video about how to get the very best deal on buying a bike from a dealer. I'm going to tell you right now, throw it all out.
Well, but I know some people actually in my family. I know people not for motorcycles, but just the fact that they can squeeze even like $10 and they feel good about it.
Absolutely.
And it's not a fact of they're getting the best of the dealer.
Right.
It's just the fact that they're getting something out of it.
It's a bike.
That's
you can't
enough.
get free floor mats.
I mean, that's what forces people to mark stuff up 30% and have a 10% off sale.
And that's exactly right.
so that you feel like you got a
Right.
deal.
Artificially inflating the price, absolutely. The list numbers that are published out in the world, they mean nothing. They really don't mean anything. And when you figure out what you want, the best thing that I can do to help you is to go into the dealership knowing exactly what you want. If you go in there and pretend that you're looking at 6 different bikes and you think that you're going to fool me by like pretending to not be interested in the bike that you're really interested in and waste my time talking about the bike you have no intention of buying, I'm going to detect that. Go ahead, Steve.
Okay, so in the last 2 years, I bought 4 new bikes.
4 bikes, right? Yeah.
I bought one from you.
Yeah.
I bought one from Sills.
Right.
I bought 2 from On the Edge Honda
Right.
in Amherst.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, I mean, I don't go in there. I don't try to make a deal. I don't try to do anything. I wanted a 0. I bought a 0. I'm like, I know you're not going to rip me off.
No.
So I don't really. I mean, I didn't even have to worry about that. I wanted an Africa Twin. The only person that had one in the area was Sills.
Yep.
I went in there and I just bought it.
Right.
I don't really. I mean, what am I going to do? How am I going to argue?
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to. I mean, I could have waited probably a couple years and got it a couple years later at a discounted price. But you know what? I wanted it then.
You're right.
And it's worth the premium to me to get the bike when I buy the bike.
right.
It's worth the premium. And then the Monkey and the Super Cub came out.
Yep.
I went to Amherst. They didn't charge me freight. They didn't charge me anything but tax. And so I bought the bike for what Honda said on there. I mean, and I didn't even go in there and argue with them.
Right.
I knew that the site, the Honda site said it was like $35.99. I went in there, and I've been in there, many times buying parts. From them. I've been buying parts from them for 20 years.
Yep.
And I went in there and I said, I want a Super Cub. I want to pre-order a Super Cub. They're like, it's $35.99 plus tax.
Yep.
And I said, fine. I
Perfect.
don't give a shit.
That's
I mean,
exactly right.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm not, because that's what I want.
You got it.
I don't want them to have hard feeling. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, who cares if they have a hard feeling towards me? But I'm not going to get anything better.
No.
And it's not going to help. It's not going to help our relationship. And I want them to stay in the business so that the next time I go to buy a bike, I can buy a bike from them. And and then they're going to call me, like they call me and say, hey, look at this, or bring me behind the counter and say, hey, this is what's going to come out. Like, look at this look at this come out. And so they know next time something that I like, when it comes in, I'm going to walk in there, I'm going to plop my cash on the table and say, get me that bike.
You showed them that you were a sincere buyer.
Oh, yeah.
In a market with a lot of people who were just like, oh, the monkey bike. How many?
It takes
how many
Steve
people were
Steve about 3 minutes to buy a bike.
Yeah, how many people were asking about the Cub or asking, oh, this, that, and the other thing? You walked in and said, I want one. I'll pay the price.
Yeah.
And that put you number 1 in line for
Yeah.
the first one that came in.
And that's true. But the thing is, it's not that I just walk in and buy it off a whim. I research
Oh, yeah.
Right.
everything
Before you even go.
exhaustively until, it takes me 2 years to buy a car.
Yep.
But with bikes, it takes you about 6 months because it changes. I mean, the changes come pretty quick and
Pretty quick.
furious.
But
so-
also, if you have a problem with that bike, you know you're going to get taken care of because you didn't fuck with them. Like you had a good relationship
You've
with
been
them.
going there
so-
20 years.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like
so
it's not the
If
first
I
thing you
have a
bought.
problem with the bike, I throw it through the front window.
But that's a big difference between buying something new and
Steve
used,
would never
right?
be dumb enough to buy a bike he'd have a problem
Plus,
with.
both the Cub
I bought a Honda and a Zero. How am I going to have a problem with those?
and those bikes were brand new releases. They're not going to start discounting. There's
Exactly.
no,
Right.
You know, this is last year's inventory or anything.
And
It's
that's true,
brand
too.
new. People are clamoring to get their hands on them. Yeah.
In fact, I probably will buy another red Cub this year.
What about the blue
And I'll probably buy a blue monkey.
monkey? Yeah,
A blue monkey.
A blue monkey and a red Cub.
Christ.
And you got to get the CT125
If it
too.
comes out.
Ooh, you're gonna get the Transalp kit for it? The Africa
Oh, I
Trans-
saw that. You said
You know what?
that.
I'm not one of those
It's horrible, but it's awesome.
adventure, you know.
Are you going to get a Hot
twits.
Wheels play case to drag them all
I
around
was
with you?
playing with you.
You're gonna
So
get like
why would I want to make a nice thin bike
Right.
like the width of a wide like a track hoe going down the street? It's stupid with squared off edges on the
got
edge of cases. It's just
Yeah.
illogical.
It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't.
Oh,
And
nice
that's-
one.
For fun, I brought out, because there's nothing that says fuck you like the invoice that I got when I bought my Toyota Tundra in 2008.
Oh, nice.
So I brought my invoice out. I thought it'd be fun for everyone to look at it because everything that's orange on this invoice is bullshit. So there's orange on this invoice, and the orange parts are bullshit. And
So Phil's handing
Documentary service fees.
out.
Extended
So,
service contract.
yeah, so everything that's orange on there,
Was that Motor Cars Toyota?
that is from Motor Cars. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'd like to remind people is that a friend of mine that I've known for no less than 20 years works at that dealership and wrote me this deal.
Oh, I had that.
Oh, the good buddy reach around?
When you're done with this, the one bike that I bought new,
Yeah.
I got from my partner with Rider for Life, Steve
Yeah.
Murad, who
Yeah.
is still with Yamaha.
Yeah.
He sold me my 2001 ZX7R for $8,100, which I thought was the greatest deal. Until I went to J&J Motors with my buddy.
Yeah.
He was like, "Hey, you got a new bike? What'd you pay for that?" I said, $8,100 proudly. And he said, "I would have given it to you for $600 less."
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah.
"Wow, thanks, bud."
Yep. So when you look at that invoice, the biggest item on there, what I like to call the big black one, that
The
that
dollar
one,
amount the credit will cost you
yeah,
$3,223.21.
you can't rub your dick on that. You can't put your motorcycle in that. You can't put your motorcycle on that.
Oh, the truck. Not
You
the
can't
invoice.
sleep in it. You can't listen to it. You can't enjoy the heat of it. That $3,000 is interest on a loan.
I would like to point out that this is something that hither prior to maybe 2000 something diggity,
Yeah.
dealers weren't even
Required by law to tell you
required
that.
all
Right.
to show you all this,
Right.
to type it out and put it on a piece of paper.
And so now they show it to you by law.
But that's assuming you carry the loan to the end of
Absolutely.
the term.
Now, in
so-
this particular instance, I did not. I paid the loan off in about 45 days because, and this is what gets into the other part of the bullshit factor, was Toyota had a deal that said the only way that I was going to get the price as advertised, the special discount price as advertised on that car, would be as if I used Toyota financing.
Oh yeah.
Now, folks, the reason that they do that is the dealer gets a commission. They get some money back, and it's not a small amount of money for generating that loan. Go ahead.
And that is exactly what happened. I just bought a Tacoma.
Yeah.
Not just, but a few months ago, I
Yeah.
bought a new Tacoma. And that's the exact same thing happened. I mean, they push you into this corner. They advertise a price. When you get there, the price is way different.
Right.
And then you try to get them back down to where they advertise that price. And then they force you to take the dealer financing
Yep.
in order to get it. But I mean, in my case, it was like 2.5%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which isn't too bad, but I'm going to pay it off in a year. So
And just
it
make
doesn't-
sure when you put yourself in that situation that you have to ask, but don't just ask. Look on the contract. Make sure there is no penalty for early payment on these loans, because otherwise you're going to find yourself paying that $3,600 or $3,300 over the life of that loan. And you know, this was a Toyota Tundra that I got an $8,000 credit because I turned in another Toyota Tacoma that broke in half because that's what they were doing. So that's why I did it. And as far as I'm concerned, and this is a deal that was written to me by a fucking friend. And the among the other items of despair on here is a extended warranty. And yeah, I bought an extended warranty.
How much was that?
$1,246.
What year was this?
2008.
How long was the
I
warranty
mean, you
for?
weren't naive in 2008.
The warranty was for 80,000 miles, 7 years or 80,000 miles.
But wait, didn't you have some problems with your rear end at one point?
I did actually.
And so that extended warranty did pay off?
It turns out it was covered by Toyota anyway because it was a thing they knew about.
And wasn't this the same truck that had a frame that is dissolved?
No.
No, that was the older, that's Tacomas.
Those
The Tacomas are a dissolving frame Toyota. Tacoma is what bought the Toyota Tundra because I got 1.5 times Kelly Blue Book perfect for the Toyota Tacoma that folded in half.
On like 3 or 4 Tacomas that you bought, turned in, got 150% of their market value.
Yeah. I don't hate the player. Yeah. Come on. So $1,246. I did look, and I didn't use that $1,246. The problem that I had with the rear end of the car, where we had a rear bearing that failed, and there was a rear bearing in the diff that failed, and it did fail on a lot of them. And Toyota did end up doing a service bulletin, and it was just a straight up, bring it in, we'll fix it, you'll have your car back in 2 hours kind of thing. So that was out. So I actually got $0 of benefit from that $1,246 I spent. Now that is a lot like health insurance. So if you feel like you're buying a car and you can run it and you can work that way, more power to you. But
It's the camera. The camera's going dark.
The camera's chirping at us.
Sound guy's camera's making
It's
noise.
just happy.
dude.
Yeah,
See,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Explode.
The verdict's out on the
Extended warranty.
Extended warranty, but the
Right.
thing, what they do though is they come in initially. They send you to that guy in the back, like the really shady,
Yeah.
greasy, nasty guy in the
Yep.
back, and he starts out at like, "We give you an extended warranty for like $2,900 for like 8 years,"
And then
he's
they
like,
just show you the power window motor, and he's like, "Well, if you have to replace one of these power window motors, that alone is $1,100."
Yeah, but then the price starts going down.
Yeah.
Or we can give you one for 36 months. Or we can give you one for this. But eventually they get down to the
Yeah.
lowest price.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so for $1,200 for what you paid for,
Yeah.
that's not actually that bad. If
No,
you
that
look
was the
at
bro deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and then if you
Yeah.
like I did, like,
Right.
nah, I'm not paying nothing. I don't even need to be speaking with you.
right,
I don't know what you're trying to do. I don't
Yeah.
know why you're trying to tell you. Well, we can't sell you the car.
right.
If you're not going to take it, then you at least have to sign this waiver saying you waived.
Wow.
You waived.
How to
the
scare
extended-
you? That's a really good tactic
You're
for
signing
scaring
this.
you
You're
into.
going to sign
Yeah.
this, and it's going to say that you don't have any extended
that's
warranty.
it. Scare
and that
tactics.
anything that happens to that vehicle is on you. I know you say you're a good
tell
mechanic
you.
and you're good with cars.
Yep.
But if that motor goes or that transmission goes, it's on you.
Wow.
Give me the fucking paper. I'll
Right.
sign it.
Yeah.
But not for but you still have the existing warranty for 36.
Right.
Yeah, you got
From
your
the-
system.
from the-
But the point is, I love the tactic of just like giving you the
For
"Are you
$1,200,
sure?"
I can put that towards a transmission or
Exactly.
towards a motor or whatever. I'll fucking burn the car and buy a new one.
Who cares? But I mean, that's the idea. And remember, too, there's also plenty of retail warranties that exist out in the, you can buy retail warranties that exist out in the world that work for all these things. So,
I
yeah.
want to kill the people that are calling my fucking cell phone. We'd like to talk to you about your extended warranty.
Absolutely.
Fuck you. I didn't take the extended
take
warranty,
it.
motherfucker.
And that's a really, really big thing. As far as I'm concerned with all these things, extended warranties, I'm not going to tell anybody that you need to buy it, but I'm going to tell you is it's a fucking profit center. So it's a way for them to pick up $1,200. And now here's the interesting, weird thing about extended warranties. There's a Harley Davidson dealership that's here in Ohio, and they're a big fucking Harley Davidson dealership. They might be one of the first Harley Davidson dealerships in America. And they've got 3 or 4 different branches around here. And they've got a deal that any used motorcycle that you buy from them, any used Harley Davidson that you buy from them, that motorcycle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty.
I'd take that in a second.
What?
You would, wouldn't you? Yeah.
Put a flag in your bike to avoid the warranty.
I want to read the fine print on
No,
that
you
one.
have to. You have to do. Because I had this is the same
okay.
thing. And my truck I
Yeah.
bought, I have a lifetime
Yeah.
drivetrain warranty, transmission, any mechanical, like a mechanical warranty for lifetime. But you have to take it to them.
Exactly.
Or you have to call the number on the thing and get the service authorized.
Yep.
It has to be exactly the way. It has to be exactly the way it is stated
That's
by
right.
the manufacturer. If you deviate beyond any of their rules, then it automatically is void.
So what
services
people don't
are-
know,
and you can't do it yourself.
right?
Right,
And so
right.
what people don't know is that lifetime warranty agreement that you have on your used motorcycle that's good for the rest of your life, is actually just an insurance policy. It's no different than what I like to call hole-in-one insurance policy. And what hole-in-one insurance policy is, oh, look, it's a lesbian golf tournament. What are we going to do? Hey, we're going to go put a fucking Vespa out on that par 4. And anybody that hits the hole-in-one on that par 4 is going to win a fucking Vespa. Now, do I want to take the fucking off chance that Ingrid is going to fucking drop a fucking beauty of a fucking hole-in-one on that, par 4 out there and win my fucking Vespa at the cost of $7,000 or $8,000 goddamn dollars? And that's going to be money out of my pocket. Or am I going to call this company that does hole-in-one insurance? It's real. Look it up.
What?
And I'm going to spend about $300 or $400 to get hole-in-one insurance. And what that means is, if Ingrid goes out there and gets lucky, it has
You will get lucky, but maybe on the 19th hole.
on the 19th hole, yeah.
I was thinking, like, can I get hole-in-one insurance on a trip to Vegas or something like that?
Well,
Like,
and this is the
I'm
thing
thinking,
is,
if I don't get a hole-in-one,
so I did a lot of golf tournaments. I did a lot of charity golf outings where we donated a scooter as a prize, and that got a lot of attention.
a buddy 50.
We did everything. What we learned was once you had the hole-in-one insurance, you could do a gold wing. It didn't matter.
The bigger the better. That counts as a sale.
That's right. Okay. So we would pay the hole-in-one insurance. And after doing 3 or 4 of these things, we were like, man, nobody has even gotten close to a fucking hole-in-one. So what do you think that we did?
No,
Didn't get the insurance.
We went commando.
these things don't even work.
And then somebody got the hole in one.
We went commando. And we went for commando for 2 or 3 events and totally got away with it. But then old Ingrid came up. And, this is a golf tournament, and this is a high-powered lesbian golf tournament. And these girls come up, these ladies come up, and they are just like, I've been telling my friends all day, I'm going to get that hole-in-one. I'm going to get that hole-in-one. And I'm like, oh, sure you are. Just prance right up to the tee there, Becky, and give her all she's got. And you know what happened?
A little extra wiener slider on that thing.
Fucking hell, man. I watched that thing go in the fucking hole.
I'm a man. I'm
put
not
her right in
worried
her
about my
hole.
manness.
Dude,
Fine.
it was
Didn't even drive my van
epic.
home.
It was brilliant. It was a Caddyshack moment. And that fucking thing,
Did it drop, bounce into
no,
the
it
hole?
rolled in. It was a
rolled
roll in.
It counts.
It probably did a 15 or 16 foot roll.
Drifted
But
right
with
into
the
the hole.
second that she put it on the green, I was like,
Fuck.
I've done some evil shit in my life. And then I saw it rolling towards the hole, and I went, I deserve this.
Reap.
And it dropped in the hole, and I had to pretend to be awesomely excited
You're so amazing.
that I just lost about $7,000. Yeah, and that happened.
That's harsh.
And
Should be like in semi-pro. I can't cash the big bank won't take this big check. I guess you have to go to the big check bank.
go to the giant bank.
But were there a bunch of beautiful lesbians all like hugging you and kissing you and saying, "All right, we won"?
Did not happen.
You really think that?
No, they did not happen.
In my mind, that
That's
would.
not how it
That's
works.
And then
I
He
beat the
crushed a
man.
4-part. How big was this girl?
pretty big.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. This wasn't a lipsticky kind of.
No,
girl.
we didn't do this on a par 2. We did this on a par 4, and and you know what's funny is when you get hole-in-one insurance, the company that underwrites it actually says we need to know the golf course in question, we need to know the hole, and they look it up and they'll tell you which hole you can do it on. They're not going to let you do it at the fucking putting green.
Give it away.
Yeah. So because
So
They
it
got to
was
look
a
at the
par
actuarial
4.
charts.
Yeah.
She got a hole in one on a par 4.
she did
That's
And
I'd
Mike,
like to see her golf.
right.
I
do you,
mean,
you know what the
No.
tying factor together of Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, and lipstick
Exactly.
lesbians are?
Yeah.
Don't you?
No.
They don't exist.
It's a figment. They're a fucking
Pictures of
figment.
all of them.
Yeah.
Chasing Amy. That is all that is right there, man.
Only on Pornhub.
Yeah. What I don't.
The Santa
And
Claus
so that policy, that lifetime insurance policy, that lifetime powertrain warranty is yes, if you only have your vehicle serviced at our Harley-Davidson dealership. So that insurance policy, I looked it up. It's not actually hard to look up. It's all right on the website. You just have to be willing to drill down hard enough. Go ahead.
Can we pause for a malort?
Are we fucking malorting
Yeah,
it?
we're malording.
Oh my God. Malort, because Dad didn't like me anyway. Malort, because sometimes you need to unfriend somebody in person.
Well, out of all of us, we have one person that's never drank Malort before.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, really?
So
Oh, no. Michael.
No, I love Malort. You're talking to the wrong guy.
I wasn't allowed to pour my own.
Fucking hell, man. Oh, man.
that's not how it works.
We, for a while, everybody's been drinking Fernet, so they started saying Fernet about it.
Steve does not have a malort down here.
Oh, shit.
I'd like to point that out. He
I'm
doesn't.
not going to drink
He
it.
doesn't.
You're not
have
gonna
to
drink
take
any?
one, but I'd like to point out that he didn't take.
Yeah,
one.
right. That's important.
I have a feeling he knows
smart.
what is. Do we? Wait, hold on. Before we go into this ritual,
It's not whiskey or bourbon.
can
I'm
you
good.
look at the bottle and tell me?
It's a Carl
what
Jepsen
I know
company.
it's Jepsen, and I know it's from Chicago, but I also know that it's Swedish or Scandinavian or something. That I know the Polish people in.
Does anybody have a Google
Where's it-
machine
where's
that can look this
where
up?
it is?
No.
It is.
Jepsen is how you say Jefferson when you're drunk.
Yeah. Well, it's out of Chicago, and fuck, yeah, right. So
Oh, shit.
here's the
All right.
Malort.
Cheers, everybody.
Fuck you.
Don't worry about it.
All right, here it goes. Oh, it's like falling down in the dirt with your mouth open.
It's like if you eat a clover after.
What the hell? It's like eating a clove cigarette. Yeah. It's like eating a goth.
That you found on the floor. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I just chewed up a 9-volt battery.
It is.
Do you remember Brady's?
What's that?
Brady's? Do you remember
Yeah,
Brady's?
remember Brady's,
Before
yeah.
it was Starbucks?
Before it was Starbucks, yeah.
If you lick the
That's
ceiling,
something.
If you lick the ceiling.
it was an accident. I'm not saying it was a proud moment, but I'm saying
You lick the
this was
ceiling.
my first thought when I tasted this was like, this tastes just like the ceiling at Brady's.
It is terrible.
Tastes like asbestos.
There is a really good YouTube video that you should look up of Carl Jepsen's grandson promoting this particular liqueur.
And I'm not unthankful.
And it is.
It's a good memory.
It does taste like.
Waste.
I can only picture that they store this and transport this in those blue plastic barrels.
Oh, no.
One's from silicone?
Yep.
Silicone carny barrels?
Yep. Silicon carne.
Not
Yeah.
even new ones, like
No,
used
old
ones.
ones. Old ones. The ones that say triple rinse on the outside. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that tastes like. God,
They
it's
used to
fucking-
carry dirt.
Yeah.
I watched a
Yeah.
show called Hot Ones. Have you seen this?
Oh, yeah.
Hot Ones?
The
Yeah.
wing eating.
Oh, yeah. And they have celebrities
Interview
eat wings,
kind
right?
of
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
There are 10 sauces.
Yeah.
And the 8th sauce is called Da Bomb, and it's notoriously
The 10th sauce, isn't it? The
No,
10th?
that's
No,
the
no,
eighth
no.
one.
It's
It's not
the
the
eighth,
last
no,
one.
they-
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
the last two are palate cleansers.
those are rewards for
Oh, you're right.
surviving the Holocaust
you,
of the fucking barbecue.
The bomb
But
is the bomb.
This
Yeah,
must-
we have Black Forest Devil to get the taste out of your mouth.
Yeah, no
yeah.
kidding. Yeah.
I'm gonna
That was my favorite.
wash
is
that down with a
actually-
fucking
This is the answer.
kielbasi is what I'm gonna do.
The devil made me do
Steve,
it.
there's kielbasi in there. It's fucking good too.
Yeah.
And hot diggity dogs. I brought kraut.
Oh, by the way, does anybody else-
Are you a stout guy at all?
I brought the kraut, but you brought the, what was it called? The Krauten?
The kraut? No,
Crowder liquor?
these are
The Krauter liquor.
Yeah, these
So we
are
have
Krauter.
Krauter liquor and kraut.
Proudly.
Krauter liquor. Krauter liquor.
I think
We support our German listeners.
We do. Yeah. Guess good.
I'm not going to
Yeah,
dump
yeah,
it
okay.
out because that
They're
would be
good.
wrong. But
Yeah.
it needs something.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
defile.
Does anybody else? Is it just me? I grew up calling it kibasi.
Yeah, kielbasi, right?
Kibasi.
Not kielbasi.
Not kielbasa. Kibasi, right?
Yeah, right.
Kibasi.
Right.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure.
What did Big Chuck and Little John call it?
Kibasi.
Okay, then they were right.
Yeah, right on, man. Yeah. But he was the Kibasi kid.
They would know.
Yeah,
He
right.
would fucking know, man. Right? He would know. It's one of those things like tree lawn. It's a Cleveland thing, maybe.
Devil
That's
strip.
not better.
Devil strip.
Devil strips in Detroit.
Right. That's a devil strip, but in Cleveland, it's a tree
Yeah.
lawn. Yeah.
That's what. First time I ever went to Detroit, somebody was like, "Yo, man, don't stand on my devil strip."
Exactly.
And I'm like, "You're white? What?
What?
Like,
And you went,
Manscaping?
don't stand on my fucking tree lawn, bitch.
Yeah, right.
And they went, wow, you too have a regional dialect.
Doesn't sound as tough, does it?
You have no accent, yet I can tell you're not from here.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't sound tough, but we can drink our water here. So
That is true.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
Detroit.
Not in Painesville, you can't.
Oh, well.
Oh, is that
You're
true?
almost Detroit.
No, for real. It's so over. There's so much fluoride in it that it puts pinholes in your teeth.
What?
When we moved there too long ago.
Yes. Tell me
The
more.
next year, my kids who had impeccable oral hygiene were all of a sudden having problems, and I said, "What the flip?" So we take them to Hudak. Not trying to plug anybody, but I took them to the dentist, and they said, "Wow, this is really weird." Oh wait, you live in Painesville. Do you drink the water?
And so the problem with Painesville water is that it has too much fluoride.
Yeah.
Also,
that's something.
Turns your teeth into a sieve.
Hudik Dental, this is the second week in a row we've talked about
We have.
dental
That is
hygiene.
We have. This has been a common theme.
If you'd like to sponsor the podcast, this is more than welcome.
I will say that there has been more conversation about good dental hygiene in this podcast.
Right.
You'd think we were trolling for a dentist to sponsor us. Fucking hell. So tell me, you said Avon Lake. Them's fighting words, Steve.
Wow.
I drink a
say-
lot of Avon Lake water.
Okay, so the water intake is downstream from the wastewater outlet.
But they filter it, right?
You're talking to the guy who knows the answer to
Again,
this question.
I know. It was a
You'll
little-
notice how fucking
it
serious
was
I got all of a
priming-
sudden,
I was
and there is
priming
no
the pump
fucking
on his
sense of humor in
questions.
my voice. I drink more Avon Lake water.
I wouldn't take a bath in Avon Lake water.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Avon Lake water or Cleveland water?
You're
Which
in
is
Neil's
worse?
background.
You're drinking Phil's bathwater, man.
Oh boy. I mean, I drink. That is my beverage du jour at home.
You're okay. Your teeth are falling out.
Literally, my teeth are actually falling out. Yeah. Clearly.
These huge sores. And your
Oh
eyes
my
are getting
God.
your eyes are slowly moving into one.
What do I need to worry about, Steve? What's the number one thing I need to worry about by drinking Avon Lake water? Because I've been living there for 25 fucking years.
I don't want.
You're immune.
I'll tell you off the air.
Oh my God! Come on, fuck me, man, fuck me. I drink a lot of Avon Lake water. Oh man, it's my favorite thing, man.
You should get an RO unit. I'm telling you right now.
Oh man,
Right now.
I don't want to have a reverse osmosis unit. I want to just drink my goddamn water and be happy.
You'll be fine.
I swim in that lake.
Aren't you
No, the
happy?
lake's okay.
Fuck no. Oh, really? Don't even say that. That makes me like,
I would-
that's the ultimate
I would
bullshit.
drink
Like,
lake water before I would drink.
You're getting worse.
So
You're getting
something-
worse than raw water
What
coming out
the
of your
fuck?
tap.
Something's
man.
happening between the lake and the thing.
what the shit? I get all these people like, I don't want to swim in Lake Erie. I don't want to swim. See you, Renee. I don't want to swim in Lake Erie. I don't want to swim in Lake Erie because, it's all fucking, Toledo's got the algae,
So that's no
algae
matter
bloom and
with
everything
Lake
else.
Erie.
I swim in it constantly.
Yeah, me
I
too.
swim in it as much as I can, and I take great gulps of that water because I'm not really good at diving. And
My wife's Jamaican friends were horrified that people put their bodies in this thing.
in our lake?
Yeah.
Really?
They were like, "Are you crazy?
Really?
You can't even see.
Oh,
You can't see the bottom."
since we got the zebra mussels, you can see down about 4 or 5 feet, but
You go
the
out
zebra
past
mussels
the
have
mud
cleaned
line,
it
you
up.
can see pretty far.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'd swim in a lake a lot. But back to the water from the tap thing. Oh man, I'm not happy about this at all. I got bullshit.
So is Avon Lake where Oberlin sends all of its wastewater?
No.
No.
Just keep guessing.
No,
At one point, Cleveland had to
he's
help
being
out.
suspiciously
In
quiet.
the wintertime, you know what happens when the lake freezes over?
Yeah.
You guys get good water from Cleveland because your intake freezes over,
Okay.
and then you can't take raw water to make it worse.
Okay.
So then it has to come from Cleveland, and it cleans out all your pipes, and you get good water for a little while in the wintertime when the lake freezes over.
Man, I'm telling you, I'm gonna take some fucking water out of my
Samples?
tap and get it
Yeah.
tested. You guys are fucking with me really hard. Oh, I see a
Get some of
test
that
in my
good
future.
Cleveland water.
I see it. Fuck you. Oh man, I have. Oh man, I'm gonna drink my goddamn Natterday Light.
You'd be better off drinking some Malort.
Yeah. It can't be that bad. Nobody has a tail.
No, nobody has a
Yes.
tail, but
But look at him. I mean,
yeah, you know what? I am pretty much. Renee likes
a
to call
fucking
Renee
lizard.
likes to call me a cockroach. Renee says she's like, Phil's a cockroach. You can't kill him. You can't make him sick. I don't miss a day of work ever. Yeah, I don't get sick. I give sick.
Breathing all that water on people.
Clearly, the water's working good.
You're immune.
Fucking toxic Avenger over here. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Oh man.
I'll take
mop?
that. That's it. Motherfucking, y'all can just fucking deal with that shit. Yeah.
speaking of the lake and motorcycles, I've been trying to touch. I've been fixated with this whole thing, and we talked about it a little podcast
last
week.
Yeah.
And having Brendan up here.
From Toledo. So Brendan was telling us that, you know what? I'm going to do that, Daniel. Thank you very much. Daniel just threw me a new Glarus, not to be confused with Old Gladius, Staghorn Oktoberfest beer. That sounds delicious.
Needs a church key.
Brendan was here, and Brendan was like straight up, like they drink
No, you can just use this
and
side.
go. They drink and go out on the fucking ice and do what?
Three-wheelers,
Yeah, four-wheelers.
Yeah.
Eat, drink, and beat merry, man. Like,
Fuck yeah.
they get into it, and
Ice fishing is a blast, and taking a four-wheeler out there and dragging your
Yeah.
little house out there and your barbecue grill and just
I got all
sitting
kinds
on-
of shit.
it's really
we got all
fun.
kinds of shit.
I got kerosene heaters and fucking tents and
I got
shit.
like walls coveralls that are good for down to -30. I've been collecting cold weather gear my whole goddamn life. I got Sorels or Sorels, whatever we call them. I got the right boots. I got the right gear.
I've been looking up cool cutters, like the fucking drill-in spikes and everything.
Yeah.
$250 for $20. Fucking stud the shit out of any tire you want. Like, you got enough lug on it.
But you know what? Last week, so this is going to bite us in the ass someday, but most of our listeners are pretty fucking cool. Because Brandon showed up and he
Yeah.
was fucking cool.
Brandon was very cool.
Yeah.
You never
Cool guy.
know that some bitch had like 8 ounces of metal in his head.
No, yeah, you did.
No, he was really good.
Is this the nuke guy?
Yeah, so this is the fella. He works at nuclear power plants, among other things. But
He's
he
an
took his
insulator.
he took his daughter's ATC 110 out for a test ride, and ended up apparently getting upside down at some point.
Woke up 2 weeks later.
Woke up 2 weeks later with metal in his head and a tube up his dick,
Oh man.
and didn't know anything about anything.
Renee, I can't believe you're leaving without my meat in your mouth.
I know,
Damn.
Renee. There's a whole bucket full of kibasi in there with sauerkraut and buns and everything. Okay,
It's
all
calling
right.
you out. It called you a punk. It said,
No, that's it.
Don't forget about the buns.
Great opportunity for Polish meat at this table.
Squandered.
Oh my god.
Didn't-
She doesn't want your little hot dog.
Across the bow.
I will say that this is. We have gone from sausage party. You can tell it's winter in Cleveland because the facial hair that's going
yeah, I
on
was
at this
noticing that
table
too.
is fucking hilarious.
You guys are all JV. That's all.
we are all JV, the Beardmeister General. Yeah. I was at a party. I was at a dinner the other day that some of my friends put on.
The glow-in-the-dark party?
Yes, the glow. Yeah, that's
Uranium
right.
glass?
That was all the uranium
Yeah, that was
glass.
kinda
That's
My wife
one of my.
come if she brings her beard.
One of my one of our friends collects uranium glass, and then the yellow glass, and it's beautiful because they blacklight it, and they have the whole dining room set up blacklit, and then they pretty much dress for Halloween year round because they're super cool. And the funny thing was, I got in the house, and it's obviously post Halloween by a bit, right? 3-4 weeks after Halloween. And I go in the house, and the whole front room is straight up perfectly decorated like 1960s style Halloween, and decorated hard for Halloween, like overdone, hard overdone. And then I go into that dining room, and the dining room is all uranium glass and glow-in-the-dark skeletons and shit in there. Beautiful, like gorgeous amount of workmanship. And that's when you can tell the gay guys from the not gay guys. Because the gay guys, they will do that. They will have a whole theme for the whole house, and they're going to run it into the ground, right? Whereas the not gay guy is going to have like 1 or 2 presentation pieces and be like, look, I've decorated for the holiday. And it's 1 or 2 cool things. But when I got in there, our friend Zach Wolf, he goes, I go in the kitchen, he goes, oh, your beard looks good. And I was like, no, you know the rule, man. We're not allowed to talk about the bills. I'm still in beard camp. I'm still growing, right? I just started September 29th was my official launch date of my seasonal, tactically appropriate facial hair. And but I don't grow beard hair real super fast. That's not my way. I never have. I've never been a fast beard hair grower. So this is some September 29th that gets you here.
All right.
And I did start with my ever-present goatee, so my chin fuzz. So
Ring beard, as the Europeans say.
ring beard is just.
Ring beard. is-
Goatee?
Oh no, I don't have ring beard. I just have the chin.
Okay,
I go
right.
straight Coop Devil. Like that is my My facial hair is always just the chin because my
You and
wife does
Kevin
not
Moore,
like-
the van guy, right?
Well, because we're both trying to hide an evidence of.
Some neck beard.
So, like, that's why you're growing yours out to cover your
Oh
belly.
yeah, no, totally. I'm hoping to get down past my dick so nobody even notices it.
Well, but you were dressing as an Amish.
Yeah, we were
earlier on,
doing-
so you
you're
had to
Growing
go
a
like
dicky
that.
do, it sticks out further than your dicky do.
Aren't you pretty much there?
And Johnny Crome, like, you know, bless his heart, he's keeping Florida down where it's too warm to have a beard.
Right.
But he's also he's an amazing, like, Olympic level beard grower. Like, his beards always look fantastic. Steve's beard looks fucking, you look like an ice fisherman. You look like one of those, what do they call that? The most dangerous catch?
Look at with his glasses and everything. He looks like the Unabomber a little bit.
He does always have a bit of the Unabomber look about him. Yeah, that's true. That's not untrue.
Come on,
Yeah.
Mr. Ted Kaczynski.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how.
And he is a smart, weird fucker, so
Well,
like,
yeah.
you know, it fits in.
And we never know how old Oscar is until he grows his beard.
Right.
Yeah.
So Oscar's beard is totally the fucking.
Well, he's got the Latin thing where he's got the chocolatey, sexy skin. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we don't know if he's 30 or
Right.
50.
You
or
do. You
yeah,
think he's
right.
26 years old until he
But then
grows
the
his
beard
beard.
comes out.
Yeah, right.
And then he can't win anything at Cedar Point anymore. And you don't get a prize. Totally guessed your age, old man. You know what? On you, I'm willing to go, I'll guess your age within 1 year.
Yeah.
The 10-year window. Yeah. I'm going to carbon date that silver in your fucking salt and pepper beard, man. Yeah. And that is truly, I mean, that's the tactically appropriate
Give away.
beard.
Well, the elephant. So you've been gone for a while. Where have you been, Oscar?
A lot of work.
Lot
Actually,
of work.
even last week I was in Milwaukee for work stuff.
Huh? Okay.
So you didn't get deported like last time?
Not yet.
No, I'm sorry.
I've been doing some ASMR on the side.
Oh, we're going to get some
Oh,
weird.
sorry. I should do it this way.
Oh, he's going to bring out the weird
on the
ear
side.
microphones. Oh, that's so weird. I didn't know that existed until a couple of weeks ago, and I watched videos here on the big screen at the shop.
That's a big internet.
I had
like,
no idea
rat
that was
hole
a
that you're not
big
going to get out
industry. Yeah,
anytime
that was
soon.
so weird. And I thought, I was like, you know what? I'm into some kinky shit. And then I saw that, and I was like, I need a new Tumblr because apparently my Tumblr is weak. Apparently everything that I think is creepy and weird, nope, no.
You're like,
no.
I could have been saving 5 to 10 minutes of masturbating a day if I'd known about all this other stuff.
Again, here I am thinking I'm all Caligula and shit, but apparently,
no.
nope, not even close. No way.
Pee Wee Herman at this point, man.
Right, exactly. Right. That's it. Just like, whatever. Okay, boomer.
Okay, boomer.
Fuck you, buddy. Yeah. Oh, it's so
I
bad.
know I'm vanilla ice all the way, man. Ice, baby.
We're to your mother.
Yeah, I see what's up there.
Oh wow, reverse cowgirl. Oh wow, this is going to be special. Right. This is exactly it.
I did
It's your
just ask
birthday.
for. I said, can I get a day of unlimited access?
All access to
Birthday, I'd like an all access pass.
Yeah.
She's
And
like-
all she said was no, but you can have a fast pass if you give me
she
$200.
said, no, I did that for you. I did that for you one time. And I'm like, what do you? I'm like,
like 20
no,
years ago.
I was like, no, I don't mean back door.
Right.
I just mean
A full park pass,
how
an all-day park
as
pass.
much as I want,
Right.
Yeah.
however
No
much
limit.
I want.
Yep.
Well, you'll have to take me to a tropical island if you want that. Like, really? Oh, okay.
You're like,
I see put in bay in your future.
I thought you said we'll have to fly up to Alaska in the winter and you could have it all day.
All day. You got an hour and a half, pal.
Make it count.
You're like, I have 37 letters to send that I don't want to lick a stamp. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm lost.
Yeah. You know, the good news is my bat goes out before there's any chance of anybody else getting tired.
My
So
front goes out. Are you
your
kidding
front
me?
goes out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, unlimited access once, maybe twice. Okay, what's for lunch?
So, Phil, did you buy any motorcycles recently for the shop?
It's all about efficiency, baby.
So ice racing, we're not going to talk too much about. That.
Yeah. No,
I would love to do it, and I'm all about it. So I think it's a great
I
idea.
have a canoe. You got some stuff. We could have some like.
We have weird toys, and we have a trailer because
could tow
I
some
bought
stuff
Crumpy's
out
old
there
trailer.
that
So
if,
yeah,
if we go back and we find out there's 100 yards between us and
Right.
what used to be the shore,
yeah.
We can have boats to get back and
Oh, yeah.
stuff. Like we can self-rescue the fuck out of ourselves.
Self-rescue the fuck out of ourselves.
Wow.
Hey, guys.
The lake hasn't been the way it used to be. It doesn't
We haven't had a
freeze.
full freeze in a long, long time.
I guess you got to go up by the islands because that anchors the ice and keeps it from floating away.
That's kind of
So-
what he was saying. So what he was describing to us is where he lives up in the Toledo region, because you can see where the islands are. Like you can physically. That the problem here is that they run the icebreakers through. So I can really only go away from my house. I can walk out on the ice usually about a mile or 2 miles, and then you can see where they're starting to push the ice away. They're breaking it
The
up.
wind blows
Yeah.
those,
The heaves, the ice
and
heaves.
then you get like mountains of
It looks
uneven,
like
and crevasses.
Superman's home planet. It looks like Krypton. When you walk out on the ice in January or February by my house, you'll walk out and your eyes play a little bit of tricks on you because it's all kind of one color. But then once you get out there and you're out maybe a half mile or 3/4 of a mile on the ice, you'll run into these 6 or 7 foot heaves, these big giant things. And that's why it's like for years I had always talked about one of my goals was to run a sidecar rig from my house to Canada. Because when we were little kids, the ice would freeze a lot differently. It would freeze faster and earlier in the year. And Canadians would drive across the ice and come to our stores, and we'd go across theirs in station wagons, And that was a thing. It stopped happening. But a couple of years ago, not a couple of years, many years ago, we had a full freeze where the icebreakers stopped running, and we had a legitimate full freeze. And I was like, this is going to be great. And at the time, I had a KLX 250, and I ran down to the lake and went down to the boat launch, put it on the ice, and went out. And in less than a mile, I got to an ice heave that was 9 or 10 feet tall. There was no getting around it, and I rode left and right to try and find a spot where I could navigate through it. No, there's no way. So
It's like 54 miles across, right?
yeah. From where I live, it's about 54 miles straight across. Yeah, so it's about 54 miles.
Why didn't you just send it?
Yeah, just
Full
fucking
send.
send it. This shit was edgy, and believe me, there was no way. If it was rampish, it was anyway rampish, I would have been all over it.
Christini with some freaking studs, bro.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
Man, the fuck up, man.
I just
know.
like it took 45 it took 45 minutes for us to circle back to a motorcycle.
Yeah,
That was the best
that was a good
part.
one. Yeah.
That's because we started out on that Moto Guzzi
What's
thing
that?
or whatever that was.
One of those airboats across the ice like
Well,
that.
that's the other thing too is because of those frost heaves, those ice heaves like that. Now, I mean, even then, you're not going to get across it because it's even a 6 foot tall ice heave. You're not getting over that. I mean, not. It's like somebody put up a fucking barrier, a wall in front of you. There you go. So he was explaining to us that they do go out there and they grade it. So they do go out there and they grade it, and that's pretty cool.
I mean, I don't need a mile out. I just need about 100 yards of like
I just
circle
want to,
track.
but I could do that in
I
a
don't
school
wanna
parking
be,
lot.
I just want to be like,
Yeah.
here's the shore.
Right.
I'm a little bit away from the shore, doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, I
donuts and
could
shit.
do it
Yeah,
on an
yeah.
ice skating rink in the community park down there if they let me.
Just go to Mosquito Lake or something. or
Exactly,
whatever,
right,
you know?
and that's what it. And you're right. Go to Mosquito Lake or do something
Will they
inland
let
lake.
you do some kind of intrepid thing there?
And that was the discussion too. He said they've never had any problem getting the attention of law enforcement because it's kind of like just a thing that happens.
It's like international water.
Plus, they're not going to come out there and make you stop. What are they going to do? Yell at
And
you
that's
from the
my
shore?
spy name, by the way.
It's like
Man
when
of
you're
mystery.
on a ferry or something. As soon as they leave the dock, you can drink all the fuck you want.
Call me whatever you want. Don't call me fairy fucker. That's it. The
I'm not a ferry fucker, but I'm the ferry fucker's friend. And the
ferry
I'll fuck
fucker's friend.
ferries till the ferry fucker friend.
So back to buying motorcycles. So what I would like to tell people who are considering this great idea of buying a new motorcycle, here's the trick. If you guys want to know the inside track on buying a motorcycle, because everyone does, and everyone thinks they know it, but I'm going to tell you, as a guy that's worked here for,
Captain Bass Spring over
Yeah.
here smacking shit. All right. Yeah.
I'm gonna assure you that after 18 years, I have heard it all. And the best advice that I can give you is be laser fucking focused. Know exactly what you want. Please do. And don't be ambiguous about it. The only thing that's important to me is not your happiness, my time. If I tell you your happiness is important to me, that's because I've been trained to do so.
You're welcome.
The reality is, my time is important to me. I have shit to do.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
So you have a bike for sale for $6,500.
Yep.
Okay. And it's in great. It's well priced.
Yep.
It's not a pile of shit.
Doesn't matter.
There's not a lot of wiggle room, whatever. If I have $6,000 cash on me in my pocket and I walk in and I say, "Hey, you have this bike for $6,500. I have $6,003.74. This is my entire, and I can show you the money."
Right.
Is that a legitimate offer for a bike?
Yes, it's absolutely a legitimate offer. And the definition of a legitimate offer, by the way, is anybody who's standing in front of you with cash. Because if you make a legitimate offer and then you tell me you've got to leave and talk to your bank,
Right.
fuck you.
Right.
But it's a different story if you're buying a older and a brand new bike.
Let's just say brand new. Let's say brand new for
Even?
fun. Let's say brand new for fun.
okay.
Because what I'm going to assure you is that if you think you know the list price or the invoice price or the net price or the tear price or whatever the fucking price you think you know, it's wrong. And if you think, oh, well, that bike, I've been to this guy's dealership 7 times over the past 4 months and that bike has never moved. So he's paying interest on that bike. So that bike is costing him, 12% interest. So he's going to be thrilled if I want to buy it because it's costing him money to have it.
You'd be wrong.
You'd be wrong. Dealerships like myself, we own our bikes. We don't floor our bikes. We don't use the bank's money to pay for them any longer than it's free. So if I have a great relationship with a brand and the brand says, "Phil, you're a great dealer, we're going to give you 240 days of free flooring," that means that I own that bike for nothing for 240 days. And on the 241st day, if I don't pay for that bike, then I pay interest. But what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to reach into my bank account and I'm going to pay for that fucking bike. So I could own that bike for another 24 years and it won't cost me a penny of interest. But I've had 240 days for free. But now I own it. The money came out of my pocket and it's here. Now my only goal is to not make zero profit or to lose the bike.
Right.
I'm always going to make a profit and accept the fact that your dealership has to make a profit or he can't pay the lights or the heat or the mechanics or whatever. And that's great. And he should be allowed to make a fucking profit. And if you don't think he should, then you become a fucking dealer.
Yeah, because when you want to come in the dealership and suck up their AC and just look at gloves for an hour and talk to Phil who's
true.
got shit to do.
Have you ever had a customer walk in and say, "Look, I will give you $8,353.27 for that bike right there, right now"?
Yep.
And you said, "No, I'm sorry, I need $9,000." And they
Absolutely.
turned around and just walked away.
Absolutely.
What's the price of the bike? What's the list price of the bike you're bidding on?
I'm just
Here's
saying.
the greatest thing that I'm going to tell you guys. The best thing that you can do is eliminate all the bullshit. So that is a two-way street. It's a little bit of you, it's a little bit of them. But do your best to eliminate bullshit as a consumer, but also as a seller. So as a seller, you want to let them know that you'd like to eliminate the bullshit today. If there's anything on your invoice that isn't the bike or the tax, states will have title filing fees. That is a real thing that exists. Shipping is real. Believe it or not, there is not a magic fleet of black helicopters that drops BMWs off in front of my shop, right? There isn't. Truck drivers, big smelly truck drivers who eat bad food, right? And somehow wear pajamas and fucking slippers. I don't know how they do this. They show up in my shop wearing fucking, like Arby's stained pajamas and Uggs, like fake imitation Ugg slippers. And they're truck drivers, and I have to help them unload 7 or 8 crates of motorcycles out of the back of their
Do
truck.
they have composite toe slippers at least?
No,
No.
they're straight up. It's like truck drivers are all about, like, if they could wear Snuggies, they would wear
It's all
Snuggies.
about
They
comfort.
wear
I
nothing
would.
if they could wear
I'd be the
nothing.
onesie truck driver, dude.
It's
All
very
day.
luxurious, I think.
Like a T-Rex in
You
that
got your-
shit.
You got your speed, your beer.
I would take my pants off the second I got up in the cab.
Yeah.
It's
my house.
Look, this
If they could have a hot tub seat, I would definitely.
Yeah.
With all that good water in it.
The Ball Fondler 4000. There you
Can you
go.
put a Japanese toilet instead of your actual seat?
Yeah, dude.
Heated seat and
Bidet.
shit.
I've been riding this truck all bidet. So now this is like, so the freight, the dealership does pay the freight, and and this is a big problem we have because, when there are certain brands that we carry that charge us $450, $500 freight, and you're like, that's exorbitant, that's ridiculous. Oh, really? Fucking try to ship a motorcycle, y'all home gamers. Try to ship a motorcycle from wherever you are to wherever the populated part of the town is that you wish you lived in, and see what that costs. It's really expensive.
I think the minimum is $500.
So $450 is straight up what we pay for some of our bigger bikes to come in, and we're going to pass that savings on to you. You're going to pay that $450, right? And if you don't want to pay the $450, I have a solution for that. It's awesome. Buy a used bike. Somebody else paid the $450. Okay.
Or drive to pick up wherever you're.
You know what's funny? If I drive to pick it up, they're still going to charge me the $450.
The only fight you win
Yeah.
is the one you don't have.
The one you don't fight. Yeah, that's exactly right. Go ahead, Steve.
And don't go ask your wife if you could buy it.
Ooh. Oh.
That is my pet peeve.
Honey, can I have my balls out of your purse?
It's not a car salesman. Tell me if this is just an old car salesman joke or is it a real story. Blah, 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 back and forth. Guy says, I've got to get my wife, blah, blah, blah. She likes to dick her. He said, yeah, bring her down here. I'll dick her.
I'll dick her.
Is that an old joke?
No, but that's
Okay.
a good joke. Yeah, right. That's
I don't
exactly.
know.
You want to dick her? Bring her down. I'll dick her.
I thought the guy made up a story, but I wasn't sure.
Bring cash in your balls.
Well, so here's the rule.
2 pockets, please. Separate pockets.
Here's the rule is very simple. If you do feel like you want to negotiate because you need to, because you're a sport negotiator, or your grandfather told you had to, or whatever.
No, but I'll have more of the Red Devil.
Red
You
Devil.
can have all this. Whatever
So
this is.
the best thing I can tell you for anybody,
Pussy, you
Oh, yeah.
fucking pussy.
drink up,
For
drink up,
bitch.
Johnny.
I told you.
For not about it. No, my lord about it.
I'm not ungrateful. I'm just
wrong
not
guy.
drinking.
I'm all over the devil.
Oh man, liquor. I love the. I do love the lineup of liqueurs that we have. By the way,
Whatever, I am what I eat.
because this is a very.
Everybody complained that we weren't going off the rails, and this.
Yeah, this is fucking off the rails.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations, we're back.
Yeah, thank
Turns
you.
out we can go off the rails with thousands of dollars worth of equipment too. Yeah.
As long as
you know
there's
what,
no
we
whiskey
can
or
drunk drive a
bourbon.
fucking Bentley as good as we can drunk drive a goddamn fucking Yugo.
Should I put the spring for a while?
Turns out we're equally irresponsible. Add liquor.
Okay, I'll focus.
The,
Laser focus. Let's go.
okay, back to Target.
Here's to me, here's to you, the best of friends will always be. If we should happen to disagree, fuck you, here's to me.
Here's the menu.
Yeah,
Got him.
mine never got here. So.
Here, have this one.
Delicious. Oh, there you go.
Oh, thank
Pony
you.
up.
All right.
It'll go
Stay
banging.
golden, pony boy.
Telling you
Yeah.
what.
Yeah. Now, but here's the fact of motorcycle salesmanship. The dude who is paying the rent or the lease on the building that you're standing in ultimately wants to sell you a motorcycle. He's super duper excited to sell you a motorcycle. In fact, that's why he showed up today.
You don't say.
And that's why he showed up all those days in February. You know, that's why he paid. Yeah, and that's exactly it. That's why he paid to be there. That's why he carries $2-3 million worth of products on his floor is to sell you a goddamn motorcycle.
For the privilege
Right.
of selling you a motorcycle.
Exactly. This is not the time to impress him with your knowledge of obscure two-strokes. This is not the time to regale him with stories of bikes you or your cousin owned in the 70s.
What, you have a KC 1000?
Wow, I had one of those.
You know, if I bond with the guy, he's going to see me as a true bro that I am, and he's going to cut me the bro deal. There is no bro deal.
I learned very quickly in our relationship because our relationship goes back
Oh, a long time.
a long time.
Yeah.
And I met you when you had your shop at down on West 25th Street and everything.
Yeah.
And one of our first interactions was you had a really cool Honda CB750.
Yes.
But I already had CB750s in my life
Plural.
and everything. But I was kind of a little bit scooter curious and
Yeah.
everything. And I was like, oh, I see what you want for all these scooters.
right.
I'm like, well, do you got anything that's like $500 with a title that I could make run maybe?
Yep.
And you said,
What did I say?
if you had one, if I knew where there was one of those, I'd buy it myself.
I wouldn't give it to you.
Yes.
If I knew where the $500 bike was with the title, I wouldn't be sharing it with you.
Right.
I would be turning that into fucking money.
Get your lollipop and your pillar head. Get the fuck out of here, John.
And then, oh, by the way, can I give you $100 a month on that? Oh, I'm sorry, you're
And
not
by
one of my
that
skinhead
point,
friends.
I had already
Yeah.
tipped my hand
Right.
as a tight-wadded motherfucker who ain't looking to buy any fucking thing new.
honestly.
And he's also Scottish as plaid.
You could tell. You could tell.
His wallet's squeaked.
What I'm getting out of all this is that when you own a business, it's actually about making money.
You know what? Despite the romance,
They're evil bastards.
or the bromance,
Business.
despite all that,
I understood and respected that. I'm like, you know what? He's here. He's making money. He's selling shit. You're not just going to come in here. You know you're not going to buy a fucking thing from this guy.
right,
Yeah, show up, take a quick look around, let him know I ain't buying nothing.
right.
Look at if you just want to be a looky-loo, tell him you're a looky-loo,
That's exactly it.
and just be honest with people.
It's the best thing you can do because ultimately, every guy who runs a shop, and I don't care if it's a pizza shop or a donut shop or whatever, the shop exists to do a thing, and no shop has extra manpower unless it's like Walmart or Sam's Club or a giant mega conglomerate. But if it's not a mega conglomerate, they do not have bonus manpower. They usually are running a tight ship. They're usually running a skeleton crew.
But if you're on your lunch hour,
Yeah.
when you used to have the mentor shop,
Yeah.
and I was working
Oh,
there, and I would come and waste your hours of time, I would give you a tip by buying anti-fog glass
Yeah.
or a pair of $20 gloves.
Exactly.
Or so, like, if you're going to spend
Oh, yeah.
your time just
And-
wasting time with somebody,
And Sleepy would come in. He'd come in. He'd buy a pair of
a little
shades.
rich around.
He'd buy a pair of gloves.
I was going to say.
And I was going to say, it's the equivalent of like looking at the stripper and going, "We're not going to go in the back room, but here at the table, it's going to be pretty good for you."
yeah.
I know I'm petty and cheap,
Yeah.
and that's not
Yeah.
really a secret with the people that actually know me. But like I've taught my kids, do not piss at a bathroom in any store unless you
Right.
buy a candy bar or
Right.
some fucking thing.
Just be cool.
Right. I mean, if like, listen, if you're giving yourself a minute to like get away from work
Yeah.
or do something, and like, believe me, if you were busy, I wasn't gonna fuck with you
Oh,
or whatever,
no.
right?
There's value.
But if there's something and like you've enjoyed your time, well, you saved me $10 from buying some food that I didn't want or something like
Yeah.
that. So spend the $10 fucking dollars at the shop or whatever.
I'd also like to take this time to talk about the special motorcycle light bulbs I wanted to buy. I had a CX500, and I was convinced that it had car light bulbs in it, and I needed motorcycle light bulbs. You said, "Oh no, you need the 1157s. Those are
Right.
the motorcycle light bulbs that you need."
That's exactly right.
I can sell you a couple of those for $5.
I was like, dude, I have 1157s right here, right now. If you buy them from me, they're already here.
I don't know why I thought that.
Yeah.
It just seemed like, for whatever reason, like something like my CDI had gone bad for some reason. Had nothing to do with the fact that I tore apart the ignition switch and then reverse polarity the shit out of everything, fucking with it. I'm like, nah, it had to be somebody put the wrong fucking light bulbs
Right.
in this fucking thing.
But I agree with Steve. I mean,
Well, you were gentle with me. You didn't.
I was gentle. I didn't call you a dipshit. I didn't call you a dumb fuck.
You're
But
just a dumb fucking idiot, dude. There's no such thing as motorcycle fucking light bulbs. Which in retrospect, maybe I wish you had. Maybe I wish you had. And other things.
in retrospect, a little tough love would have gone a long way.
Dumb fuck.
Hey, John.
Fucking light bulb is a fucking
I'm
light
sorry,
bulb.
you need an 1157 mic. An 1157 mic, that's a motorcycle light bulb. Yeah, it has a special, it's got a special silicone shield around the end of it. It's got a Teflon liner.
Anti-vibration.
Anti-vibration.
Those are 25 fucking bucks a piece, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, 1157 mic.
Buy them in bulk.
Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. Dude.
What were you
Yeah.
saying?
no, yeah, but I agree with Steve says.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pro tip just to know what you're willing to pay for a bike. Do your research.
Yep.
Know what the bike's worth.
Yep.
Don't bullshit your
Don't
dealer.
bullshit.
Just
Don't
go.
bullshit. Yeah.
This is what I'm willing to pay. This is what I have in money.
Yep. And don't
it
even
okay
say
or not?
And if you and I'm gonna say, guys, if this is your game, if your game is just you want to win the money battle, okay? If that's your game, that's cool. I'm totally all right with that. That's okay. I mean, I know people that are into Pokemon, and I know people that are into all kinds of other shit that I'm not into, right? And that's their jam, and they dig it. I don't understand it. It's not my thing. But if you want to come into my shop and you want to be like, I bought this bike for the smallest amount of money as possible, that's cool because I'm going to let you in on a secret. I want to sell it.
You can walk in like once a week and be like, I want that Stratoliner
Yeah,
for $4,500.
Exactly.
I'm
Right.
your Huckleberry.
I'm your Huckleberry. Right.
Come in 2
Let's
weeks
do
later.
it. Let's
I'm
do
still
it.
your Huckleberry.
Because
Still
if
here.
the best thing about a negotiation is the foolish thing is that people think that negotiations are what's the lowest you'll go on this
I
thing?
was gonna say that.
That people think that's. And I'm like, dude,
That's not the
what's
way to do it.
what's the lowest I'll go? Like 3 miles an hour. On anything under 3 miles an hour falls right over. The lowest I'll go. Yeah.
I think the problem is people think negotiation is adversarial when
Right.
it's really symbiotic.
It's totally symbiotic.
It's
A great negotiation is. So, does anybody else know Joe Veal? Anyone know Joe?
Oh, he's got a bar in.
So Joe Veal is a vintage Japanese motorcycle collector here in Cleveland. He lives on the east side. And I've worked with Joe. I bought a lot of bikes through Joe, and Joe's bought a lot of bikes from me. And recently I had this blue 74 Honda CB750 with the blue gauges. It's kind of a 1-year bike, you know. They really only built that bike for 1 year. The paint was wrong, but it ran. It was a good running bike, and you know, the missing the seat and all the normal shit, right? But I threw this thing up on, Facebook Marketplace. You know,
Which is an amazing
is this
place.
still available? Right? Again, truly, the fucking Facebook Marketplace.
Will you take $200? Yes.
Yes.
So when, I ask you something about that. I don't have Facebook.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
I know it's a good thing to do. So my
Right.
wife sometimes shows it. She has that, and she shows it to me, and I say, I think all that, like those canned questions are
Questions are
crap.
bullshit.
So all I do is I put, call me.
Yeah.
Put my
Exactly.
phone number in, and that's it.
So
Exactly.
I just listed.
Is that okay? I mean, is that
No,
what
you're
you
right.
would prefer?
No, you're exactly right.
because
I
that
just
leaves
listed my
that leaves
first
it up to
thing
the
on
seller.
Facebook Marketplace, which
Right.
was a snowblower motor,
Yeah.
and I got 20 responses,
absolutely.
and all of them say still available,
Still available, still available. Right.
I'm only looking for one that has a phone number,
Right.
and when he has a phone number,
Right.
I'll sell it to him for whatever he wants to pay for it. As soon as somebody sends me a phone number, I will.
I
let that
dare
go.
them to sell you.
Or
to send
type
you.
a fucking message and say, I'm willing to pay this much for it. If you're interested,
Convince
please
me
call
you're
me.
a real person.
Right.
And I think people who listen to our podcast are very fucking hip to that.
When I want to buy something off of Craigslist or Marketplace or anything, I say, my name is John from Lakewood. My number is 216 blah, 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 blah. 630-8044. You can call me.
555.
In case you didn't have enough of the Cleveland Moto hotline number, let's give you the John McElfresh hotline
here's
number.
This ain't no fucking bat line.
Here's the problem, though. Every time I find something I want to buy on Craigslist, I'm like, hey, my name's Steve. I'd like to buy this. They're like, well, there's this guy named John McElfresh that's already told me he'd buy it. And so I'm always fucked on everything.
I love sending the first, when I see something that's a hot deal,
Right.
Oh, yeah.
I would like to buy this. My number is this. Call me, please.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't say I'm
Every
interested.
trail, anything,
I don't,
any
I don't
three-wheeler,
make an offer.
anything,
I just say
it's
I'd
all
like
you.
to buy it. This is my number. Call
Can
me.
anybody read what's on the monitor right now?
Yeah.
Anybody want to read it for the class? That's the truck I'm selling. That's my Land Cruiser.
Wait, you're selling? I thought you loved your Land Cruiser.
I do, but everything's for sale. Steve, you don't name the chickens. Unless you're Steve, in which case you totally name the chickens.
Yeah. Marion. Marion was my favorite.
Right, exactly. You've named your chickens, which is hilarious. If this listing is up, it's still available. If you post, is this still available? It's obvious to me you didn't read the whole thing and you'll be blocked. If you are about to ask what's the lowest you'll take, don't bother. You'll be blocked. I will entertain all cash offers that are made in front of me in person after seeing the car. Done. That is how you list it. Now, anybody who writes, is this still available?
Bye.
Block them.
They're out.
They didn't read it.
But here's the thing about
Yeah.
that. If you've never used Facebook
Right.
Marketplace before,
Yep.
you don't know that clicking on is this still available instantly sends that message.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
It's a pre.
And you probably don't want to send to them either if they've
Yep.
never bought off Facebook.
I did get into a bit of a tete-a-tete with somebody who did that, and they were like, well, but don't you understand that, like, if I want to just click that that's what that is, and I said, well, you know what? You are part of the problem, and I'm not going to reduce myself to your level to make this situation work. So in the interest of improving the gene pool as a whole, I'm going to deprive you of the ability to own this vehicle because I don't think you're cool enough. And I sent that to the guy, and the guy was like, fair. And I was like, he actually just got back on the good team.
Yep.
He's been enlightened.
So that's not a canned response.
Offer me $100 less because I will take it from you.
Take it. Right. Yeah.
Here's a toast,
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
because without bread, we wouldn't have any.
Oh, liquid bread. Ouch. So, okay, that's a big thing. So here's the trick with buying from a dealer.
Yes.
Okay. One, don't use their financing and make sure they know that up front, unless you absolutely need to. Go ahead, John.
I know. I have a lot of friends that are atheists and stuff like that. But I can tell you this.
Yes.
One of the best places you can get financing through is St. Francis de Sales Credit Union.
What?
Or our Angels of the fucking Mercy Credit Union.
Right.
Because that's
the Sisters of the Holy Hand Grenade. The IRA Credit Union.
Because some of the I've financed.
Your next purchase starts with a bang.
You're smelling what I'm stepping in.
I'm totally smelling what you're stepping in, John. I'm a member of the Ohio Educators OHECU Ohio Educators Credit Union.
Yes.
Do you know the requirement of being a member of the Ohio Educators Credit Union?
Not much.
You had to go to school.
Barely.
You had to have a kindergarten.
You had to have attended a class in Ohio.
A class.
A class.
And they don't even go beyond that.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Advanced rubbing one out.
Vacation
101.
101.
Well,
That's a 3-level class.
Credit Union.
What's that?
I belong to Vacationland Credit Union.
Well, huh?
You have to have gone on a vacation.
Vacation land?
Wow. What the fuck?
That's hilarious.
How many credit unions I
Vacation land
don't
credit
qualify
union.
for.
But the credit unions do a better job, and you should. If USAA, I sell a lot of weird shit, and USAA is like you have to be in the military or know how to say military, or have a friend or a brother or an uncle that was in the military. If you don't know if you have a friend or uncle or brother who was in the military, you could probably lie about it and get away with it.
we'll provide one for you.
I was going to say, I could be your friend. But yeah, we had a dude get approved through the USAA for a 27-year-old little tiny Japanese clown car.
And that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I mean, about St. Francis and stuff. I talked with them when I bought my Kia. I'm like, what can I buy? I mean, what do I need to do? And they're like,
What can I buy?
well, they're like, you can buy anything. I'm like, wait,
buy anything. I'd like to buy your church.
doesn't it have to meet book value? No.
How much for those girls?
Doesn't it have to be newer than a certain age? No.
Wow.
Like, I can buy a $43,000 1971 Corvette.
Yeah.
Yes, you can. Your credit's good with us. You've bought three. Well, between me and my wife, we brought 5 vehicles through there
Holy shit.
and never missed a payment.
That's pretty rad.
So I can buy anything.
So you can buy a $2,700 G.I. Joe #1 comic.
Sure, not a problem.
Wow.
And you know what? I think they'd be okay with that.
Just make the payments.
Just make the fucking payments. And that's really something that we...
And the interest rate was like 3%.
Yeah.
And
That's
it was,
fantastic.
It was amazing.
Default interest rate for motorcycles, campers, RVs, and boats is 9.9% because they're all recreational vehicles.
Yeah.
If your dealership is offering you less than 9.9%, that's called a promotional rate, and the promotional rate is usually a deal that the manufacturer is running. So if you can get less than 9.9, you're actually doing okay.
And then they don't report to the credit bureau until after you pay it off, and you pay it in full.
Yeah.
And you pay it 100%. Like, because I think I was pissed because my car wasn't showing up.
Oh, it
I'm
wasn't.
making
Yeah, it
all
wasn't
my
posting.
payments on
Right.
it. Like, well, when you pay it off, we'll show that you paid it off in full, all payments on time.
Right. This
But
is true.
I could have been making late payments,
Right.
and they wouldn't report it.
Right. This is true. I'm a huge fan of that. So the art of buying a bike from a dealership is to remember that all of these things you're studying, all these things that you think are arming you to be a better, more educated buyer, are all wasting your fucking time. Here's the trick. The trick is, 1, have a set amount of money that you want to pay for it.
Yep.
Trick 2, know exactly what you want to buy and let the guy know about it. Trick 3, respect his fucking house.
Also, be
Okay.
realistic.
Of course you can be
Yeah,
realistic.
don't expect that you're going to walk into somewhere that you want an $8,000 bike and you
For
have
$3,000.
Right,
Yep,
exactly.
exactly. It happens all the time.
How about this?
Yeah.
Don't be confrontational. come in.
Don't be an ass about
Talk
it.
to
Yeah.
Phil.
I'm
Hey, Phil. Hey, man. How's it going? I really like this bike.
right.
I know.
Hey man,
Bro,
I need a friend, and you seem pretty cool. So
Can I get the girlfriend experience?
I feel like that's probably not enough.
Oh, but here,
I've
Phil.
heard a lot about you. You're a really cool guy and everything. And
So, all right. So here's
Patreon.
I'll give you a reach around.
here's a legitimate
Yeah.
question. So you're buying a bike, a used bike.
right,
You're into a vintage bike, and Phil's selling this bike, and you
Right.
say this is a great example of a 1979
whatever,
right?
whatever.
And you buy this bike, and then you're buying a vintage bike, and you get home, and there's some leaks, and there's some other stuff.
Dude,
So
good luck, man. You bought a bike.
Outrageous.
You bought a vintage bike.
Right. So can you?
As is,
So
where
this
is.
is, this is the learning experience.
Yeah.
Tell this person that just bought this bike what they actually bought.
So step one, I'm going to give you guys all a free super duper tip that I gave a guy earlier today, and it broke his little fucking heart. His 69-year-old heart. I just watched it just evaporate in front of me because he wanted to buy. He came in the shop and he wanted to buy this bike, and he wanted to buy this, and it's it's a bike that's 15 years old, and he goes, well, is there a warranty on this bike? And I said, no, there is no warranty on this bike.
Expressed or implied.
Exactly. There's no warranty expressed or implied, as is where is, unless otherwise unless otherwise indicated.
But why is that, Phil?
subtle for
Why
them.
is
Here's
that?
the game.
Ohio.
Here's the game, guys. By law, if somebody offers you an extended warranty on a vehicle, a used vehicle, then that will be a third-party warranty or something they're selling you. Because there are laws in most states that prohibit a dealership from suggesting that a vehicle that's used has a factory warranty.
Let me get this straight.
Yeah.
You cannot offer an extended warranty
I can.
on a bike you're selling.
I can. Absolutely. I can sell you a lump of fucking unicorn tears. I can sell you anything that you want to buy. I'm allowed to do that. And it's up to you to prove, caveat emptor be your guide in all things. Let the buyer beware. But the most important thing is if I want to sell you a third-party warranty, of which there are myriad options, and you can buy, as we were talking about those Harley Davidsons with the lifetime powertrain warranty, that's a $200 insurance policy that the dealership's ponying up to $200 to convince John Q. Public, I just bought a fucking Sportster from '96 and I only spent $4,600 on it, but I got a lifetime powertrain warranty. You're not winning, pal.
I can ride it like I stole it.
Exactly. You're not winning, right? You're not winning, and you probably are not going to be able to cash that check. So here's the thing about extended warranties. Many dealers offer certified pre-owned vehicles that come with a 90-day warranty, parts only. Your mileage may vary. Items may have settled during shipping.
Sold by weight.
Sold by weight, not volume, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
See our list of exemptions.
Right. So we've all been there, right? And that's what I always say is like the bigger the smell, the sharper the knife. Always be careful when something seems like it's too good to be true. If a dealership says, you could buy this brand new Honda, this 2020 Honda motorcycle for, $19,000, but I happen to have this lovely traded in used model, only has 1,200 miles on it. Now, it has no warranty left over, but if you'll step over to window 3 and talk to the guy in the polyester tie, he'll set you up with an extended warranty that can't be beat. You had better check your fucking exhaust port because you are about to get fucking rear entry.
It's the banana tree.
All right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is, if you're so worried
Yeah.
about having an extended warranty,
Yep, you're buying the wrong bike.
buy a new bike.
Yeah.
That's true.
I did
Step
that.
away from the Ural.
You're going to spend money either way. You're going to spend it on repair,
Yeah.
or you're going to spend it on the new bike, which is guaranteed. So, what do you want to do? You're going to spend it.
I will say this: there has been at least one opportunity that I did suggest somebody buying the extended warranty.
Absolutely.
And it was a young lady that I went to college with, and she is single, and she was looking to buy a BMW car. And she was talking to me about the extended warranty, and I said normally I would say no,
Right.
but in your particular case,
Yep.
yes. I would buy the extended warranty because you have no capacity to fix it yourself.
And they're
Exactly right.
18th on the
And
list
it's-
for reliability.
Its reliability is questionable, and yes, Go ahead and buy
Do you live in a world that has bumps? Oh, my God. Right. Do you live in a world where suspension is important? So here's what I'm going to tell you. Maintenance plans. So maintenance plans are bullshit. Okay? If somebody offers you a 2-year maintenance contract, we're going to put you at the front of the line, John. Go ahead.
So on this new truck, they give you 2 years free maintenance, right?
Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah.
So I come in for and I have to follow the 5,000, 10,000, whatever. I come in there for 5,000 miles. I need an oil change.
Yep.
I need whatever. Oh, it doesn't call for an oil change. I said the book says that if I was towing or if I did
Extreme
idling
duty.
or towing, it
duty.
needs an oil change.
Yep.
Well, we don't do that on the first. We don't do that in the first maintenance. I said you gave me, 2 years of free maintenance. Yeah. So he's like, well, if we give you the oil change this time, we're not giving it to you at 10,000 miles. And I'm like, then it's not free maintenance.
That's exactly right.
So it's total bullshit.
Right. It's bullshit.
So who won that?
They won. I mean, they still.
Yeah, I'm not putting it in your question. That sucks.
No, it was free. I didn't pay for it.
But the point
it
being,
was an incentive to buy it.
Oh,
but
free. Okay.
anything that is given to you is only as good as the small print that's attached to it. So be real careful about it. Maintenance plans are that kind of a thing that people are going to sell to you as a convenience item. That like, oh, you give me $250, but that's going to cover everything. I don't care if it needs a new tire. I don't care if it needs a new windshield wiper motor. Whatever, we're going to cover it. We're going to pay for it. I don't give a fuck. Just don't. That's a profit center for the dealership. Now, I'm not saying the dealership's not allowed to make money, but that is an item. That's a product. That's a point of sale product that they're trying to sell you. And I'm going to say, just take it from your Uncle Phil. Step away from that position. If you have to go into another room to sign the contract that you're about to buy a vehicle, you are probably getting fucked. If they're paying somebody for like an F&I manager, so F&I used to stand for like finance and insurance, it was a way to add more value to the product. It's not. It's a big D and you're A. So that's what it is. It should be called a DNA, not an F&I. But maintenance plans, that's a big thing. Gap insurance. Does anybody here know what gap insurance is?
I do because I had to use it.
Okay. Right. And if you've ever had to use gap insurance, you are in the minority.
You've never seen my wife drive.
But for some people...
And I guess that was into the side of the bus that you just saw.
Right. Now, here's the weird
if
thing
you have
about...
to use gap insurance, you made a bad deal on your car.
Okay, well, here's the trick about...
car a year for 5 years straight.
Right. Because every vehicle that's brand new loses a lot of its value in the first year. Right? And that's because vehicles do depreciate like fucking hell. Yeah, but here's the trick. Trying to buy a vehicle that isn't going to depreciate like fuck in the first year, or buy a brand new vehicle that's already a year old. What you're going to find is that the purchase price that you've paid is so low that you may in fact be better than buying gap insurance. So gap insurance should only be, if you're going to buy it, if you have somebody in your house that is known to fucking like Super Dave Osborne blow shit up and just ruin your life, then you might need some gap insurance. But the most important thing is, why would you overpay for something in the first place? Look at what KBB is for something that's retail price new. Look at what NADA is. We all know KBB and NADA are complete horse shit anyway.
So what's gap insurance then?
So gap insurance is all about... So GAP is actually, people don't know this, but GAP is a fucking acronym.
Yeah.
It stands for Guaranteed Asset Protection. It doesn't stand for the gap between what you paid and what it's worth. Because I used to think that gap insurance stood for the gap between what you paid and what it's worth. And the idea is what you paid is $20,000.
Okay. Well, I always thought it meant it's the gap between what the insurance company is going to give you.
Exactly.
And what you're still going to owe after the insurance company gives you so much.
I just wrapped my Lexus around a telephone pole. I have 36 payments left, and this baby's all mine. However, it has been totaled. I have proof that this is a $36,000 car. However, the bank is only going to write me a check for $26,000 because
the insurance company's only giving me $26,000.
Exactly, the insurance company's only giving me $26,000.
What the fuck am I going to do?
So
about
there's $10,000 I can't use to pay off the bank. Well, first of all, that's a profit and loss write-off for the lending institution, and you shouldn't be held accountable for that.
P&L.
P&L. So but that gets into a different level of involvement. if somebody is offering you gap insurance, I'm going to say you are probably paying too much for whatever you're buying. Sure. You're paying more than it's worth, and that's what the definition of gap is.
But I mean, I just read an article.
Yeah.
That, I mean, like that's what people are doing these days.
Mm-hmm.
They are turning over cars so fast that they're in the red on this one. They're rolling over the deficient balance
You keep
from
saying
one car
rolling.
to their new car, and they're to the point where they're just so upside down in their vehicles that it's ridiculous.
Have you ever dated a stripper?
Ugh.
Okay.
Wouldn't I love to?
No, you wouldn't.
So
Never.
here's the thing about
I
dating a
don't give
stripper.
a fuck. Ruin my life. Just as long as I have, as long as I have a couple days of unlimited access.
Oh, it's coming back to that. I'm seeing a trend.
This girl made some like tragically bad car decisions. Like, but she just wanted to have a red convertible LeBaron. That's a Chrysler product.
The blue Prius to me.
Oh, it's like 1986 or what the fuck?
No. This is a while ago. But again, this is a girl that had decided she wanted to have a red convertible, and she decided that red convertible she was going to have was, Lee Iacocca Maserati, right? So
Unlimited access?
well, but
I'll buy her one for fucking.
so it got to the point where when I met this girl, I was kind of like, you're making like $300 a night. And if you're making $300 a night, why are you broke?
Right?
And I was like,
What's
how?
going up what?
Yeah, right.
Stripper man.
Exactly. Yeah. Stripper. Yeah,
Those
exactly.
bunnies don't jump around for nothing.
This thing handles like it's on rails.
All right.
It's not about the batteries.
Here's
Okay,
an
go
important
ahead.
question
Yeah.
from somebody that I know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Somebody that shopped here or elsewhere has bought a scooter
Yeah.
or a motorcycle
Yeah.
or anything,
Right.
and they are not motorcycle, scooter experienced.
Right.
Winter is approaching.
Yeah.
They don't have the ability to do what most of us would do. They're like, oh my God, winter, I'm not going to ride my
Right.
bike anymore. What is Uncle Phil's
Yeah.
suggestion to do to save the bike for the winter?
Are we talking about winter storage? Did we
Well,
talk about
I
that
mean-
2 weeks ago?
Is that a dealer service?
No.
Wait until
No,
after winter
no.
and then buy it.
No, this is like somebody that's ignored
Sell
everything
it
they've been
anyway.
told.
Why are we
Yeah.
confused?
This is something that like the dealer doesn't matter. They're like, oh shit, I can't ride my bike anymore. It's fuel injected. I think I don't even know. I have a buddy 125. I
Right.
don't know what's going on. What does this person need to do? This is the person that has no concept of motor storage, gasoline.
Oh, you're just putting it away for the winter?
yeah. You're just like oh shit. What do I do?
A battery tender. If you can do nothing else to your bike, if you literally, if you go, you know what, fuck the rules. I'm just in it for the fun.
Right.
You know what, I'm gonna not want to pay for service in the springtime, but I'm only gonna want to do one thing: battery tender.
And what about
Do you know why?
carbureted?
Save the battery, because there is a small chance it may start in the springtime. It won't if it's carbureted. If it's carbureted, it won't start in the springtime.
What about
But
starting it up every week and doing donuts in your neighbor's yard?
I love that
keeps
plan.
the carb
That is the
going.
best plan ever.
That's what I do.
That is the best plan. That is the best plan. The best plan for making your bike not know that it's winter is not letting it know it's winter.
Just
Okay,
keep
so
riding.
okay,
Keep
so
fucking it over the way you fucked it over the past 10 years.
Neglect it steadily.
no, but no. All right, so seriously,
Hard love. Right?
All right, back it all down, guys.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Oh, sorry, you got me going.
We're a Cleveland Institute of Art student that bought a Buddy 125 because they said this is going to be the greatest.
Oh, this isn't anecdotal.
Is it black?
Okay, all right.
It is. It's a black bike.
They're
It's
an
a
art
red
student.
bike. Doesn't matter.
It's tragic.
All right. So, but this person knows nothing about motorcycling, nothing about scootering. Anything.
Right. Yeah.
What can they do?
Yeah.
They bought this bike. They bought it from you. They
Oh,
bought
yeah.
it for. It was a deal. It was like great for 3,500 miles, untouched. Great bike,
Gas
right?
tank, put a battery tender on it. And
Yeah.
And what are we doing? What are we doing to this
The
bike?
best thing you're going to do is you're going to put a battery tender on it first things first.
Okay.
So you're going to put a battery tender on it. If you can't afford the $39 for an Optimate or battery tender, float charger.
Isn't it enough to just pull it out of the bike and put it next to your fish tank?
No, but
No.
But does running it? For
It is better to not pull it out of the bike, not put it next to your fish tank. It's better to every 3 weeks go out and start it. Buy
gas out of
a
the car.
I just pulled the piss off my asshole fucking neighbor who complains because my goddamn motorcycles piss off his little fucking yappy dog.
But how long do you?
And he backed in front of my fucking wife as she was backing out of my driveway because I had the fucking stereo on with the door open
Yeah.
because the kids were playing on the fucking trampoline.
yeah.
and it's midday on a fucking Saturday.
Because you're just trying to be an old white guy in Lakewood.
I'm just
Play
trying
with
to
your
have
fucking toys.
fun and live my goddamn motherfucking life.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks, so he comes and pulls it. So the next day, I hear about all this.
Right,
I
right.
wasn't there.
Oh, of course not.
Or I'd have fucking,
Had you been there,
had I been there.
it would have been a totally different story.
Yeah, cops would have been called.
Police blotter
My buddies would have been called.
for the win.
Yeah. So the next day, I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, it's a good day to start up all my motorcycles.
Yes, it is. It's a perfect day to start up on my motorcycle.
Rev the fuck out of them.
Yes, it
Especially the
is.
two-stroke.
Absolutely.
See if we can get old fucking crotchety pants to come walking over
Do a
here.
little two-stroke therapy for the neighborhood.
Blah, 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 blah,
Let them know what fun sounds like.
Yeah.
Limiter essentially.
Okay,
Vroom, vroom.
if you are a senseless person that doesn't know anything about all of the things that you just mentioned,
Start the
What
bike
is-
and run the gas out of the car.
Essentially, that's what I was
What's so hard
doing.
about it? I mean,
no,
you're-
but you don't understand what a carburetor is. Do you
I
run
don't care
the
if you don't understand
No.
what it is. Just
No.
run it for 5 fucking minutes.
Well, that's the thing.
Well, I do call.
Does
You don't know how
idling
your
help
vagina
a
works,
bike?
You still give it a good 5 minutes.
But does idling help a bike?
No,
Once a month?
so first of all, don't. And so this is what we call. So at the shop, we have a term for this.
Right.
So at the shop, we call this the lawnmower principle.
Right.
So I can't teach you about motorcycles.
Right.
Okay. Some people I can't teach about motorcycles, but most people get the lawnmower thing.
Okay.
Okay.
What is the lawnmower?
The lawnmower thing is that most motherfuckers have not actually pushed a real lawnmower, and by real I mean the kind that goes. Right.
There's no motor. It's
It's
just
just a
pushing.
reel.
gear,
It's a
yeah.
reel that the
Reel,
friction
yeah.
moving. It's a real lawnmower, right? It's
if you
not
run, you're
gasoline
better
powered.
off.
But a gasoline powered lawnmower, you know what the way it works. You put the little switch, you prime the thing, set it for rabbit, not turtle, and pull the shit out of it, right? And pull the recoil starter, pull the string until it goes and wakes the neighbors up. So we all can kind of, like, even people who are motorcycle ignorant can at least mentally visualize a lawnmower. And so the idea is what you tell people is that you don't want to just leave the lawnmower sitting dead all fucking winter long. So what you want to do is you want to start the lawnmower and you want to get some gas through it. And it's the same thing with a bike. So you start the bike and you get some gas through it. And if you do that about once a month, you got a 50% chance of survival. If you do that once every 3 weeks, you got a 75% chance of survival. And if you do it once every 2 weeks, you've got a 90% chance of survival.
And what does running it up mean?
That means you start the bike. If you let the bike sit and idle, you will only clean 1/3 of the carburetor,
Right.
the least important third.
Guess what? The idle circuit.
Exactly.
Oh.
And if it starts and if it idles and it sits there and goes duck, 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 like the world's worst generator because it's only generating enough power to charge a little tiny battery.
Your cell phone.
And it's literally it's the world's worst cell phone charger. And it's losing power because in our country it has to power the headlight and the tail light.
Right.
Okay, at the same time. And if your bike's a scooter, it has to power.
Sometimes running lights. And
Well, how about
Fuel
this?
injection.
How about the enrichener, which is also electric and is a heating element. So heat is also very expensive when it comes to electricity.
Easier with a lighter.
It is easier with a lighter. The Meckelfresh trick. When in doubt, add fire.
Add fire.
This is going to be spectacular. So, but to go back to that. So if we look at that, the best thing you can do is to start your bike and go out in the garage, open the garage door, have a cup of cocoa or coffee or whatever it is you drink, and then just rev it for like 10 or 12 minutes. And what I like to tell my customers, and I know this is going to sound silly and quaint, whatever, because I am a goddamn, sales monkey. I'm going to say, what you're going to do, folks, is you're going to go out and you're going to open your garage door. You're going to start your bike up, and you're going to have a nice big cup of coffee, and you're going to call your mom. Because you know what? You should call your mom.
She likes
Okay.
the sound of motorcycle.
And you know what? You
3
know what's going to be
hours.
great? You know what's going to be great? Is your mom is going to hear the sound of your motorcycle revving in the background. She's going to go, what's going on? And be like, you know what? I'm doing maintenance on my fucking scooter. And you know what your mom's going to think? Your mom's going to think you're a little bit cooler than you were yesterday. And you're going to have a talk with your mom, and because you should talk to your mom, and nobody talks to their mom enough. And we've done 3
I
things.
do.
Well, and what John's saying is that
Close the
John
garage
talks
door
to
with the
my
brake
mom.
running.
Yeah.
I've talked to your mom.
John's always talking to my mom. Okay, so now,
Cool.
so you've talked to your mom, which is more important than all the other things. But then you also started your bike, you ran your bike, and you revved your bike. And you had a cup of coffee to make the day go better. That's fine. But if you do that, if you rev your bike and have a cup of coffee and call your mom, all of those things are going to be better. Like every single one of them. If you do it for 10 to 20 minutes, all the electricity you took out of the battery, getting it started, will be put back into the battery. All 3 jets of your carburetor will be clean, and you will have gotten all the bad gas out of the float bowl and put the new gas into the float bowl, and life will be better because of it. So that's it. But open the garage door first, because your mom likes you.
Yeah.
And if you don't open the garage door first, shit could get weird.
I was doing the snowblower game, and I had to leave my garage door opener for 3 days. I'm like, holy
Hey, John,
shit.
does this rag smell like chloroform?
Yeah, I'm like, damn. I'm like, I'm not going to close the garage door all the way.
Right,
I'll leave it
you
open
can't.
6 inches for the next few days. Just like, holy Christ.
No, gasoline motors love to run, man. That's what they want to do. And we ask them to do horrible things in horribly harsh environments, and that's the way to do it. If you ever go out to your garage, though, and you're like, okay, well, I did that, like Phil said, I did that 3 weeks ago, and now I'm doing it now, and then I'm doing it now, and oh, fuck, it won't start. Okay, it's super cold. So, yeah, you lost that one.
The one snowblower had to clean the
Yep.
fucking jet in it. I
Yep.
mean, that was, end of whatever last winter. Sat over the
Oh,
summer.
no, I'm good, thanks.
It's gummed up.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, you're going to lose a few. Well, the first thing is you're going into war with antiquated equipment. You got a carburetor, and this is not a carburetor-friendly society.
You don't get a year. You don't get a year.
Unless you're buying your gas at the boat dock, you are set to fail, right? Because the gas you're buying is not safe for the vehicle you're running. Go ahead.
So, this last week, I sucked all the gas out of all my motorcycles.
It sounds like it.
Put them into my truck.
Yeah.
And then I went to Chardon Oil and got 100% non-ethanol
Yeah,
gas.
Chardon oil's good for that. Yeah.
And I'm filling it all up.
Yeah.
And then I stopped at my favorite motorcycle shop, ClevelandMoto, and I bought StarTron.
Right.
And I'm going
And
to
so
put it in
here's
that.
what I'm going to tell folks about StarTron.
Okay.
So StarTron may or may not work.
Awesome.
No.
Steve.
Yes.
All right.
They should be giving this shit away.
Now, here's what I'm going to tell people. Anytime you're buying an additive, okay, any additive it might be,
Don't buy stable.
well, I think we can all tell you that we have cleaned out the vestiges of stable. And the biggest problem with stable is a lot of people go, oh, on the bottle it says to use 4 ounces for 3 gallons. I'm going to use 18 ounces for 1 gallon. It's going to be better.
It'll be better.
And it doesn't work real good that way. So here's what I'd like to tell you. In your life, be constantly vigilant for marketing horse shit and trickery. Okay? And marketing horse shit and trickery is alive and well in our world right where we live right now. And you'd think with Google and the access to all the world's solutions to all the world's problems at our fingertips and our buttholes by our phones and our thumb-powered intelligent devices, you'd think we'd do this. But here's what I'm going to tell you. This company that sells this product called StarTron, which I do believe does make a difference,
I think it does too.
has this in its fucking byline right on the package. It says StarTron, and right underneath it, it says enzyme, trademark, fuel treatment. Why do you have to trademark the word enzyme? Enzyme is a fucking word, people. Enzyme does not need trademarking. You don't need to trademark the word enzyme.
Well, it cured my herpes.
It's an enzyme.
Right.
So is it an enzyme or is it an enzymatic process? Yeah. Let's not get into the chemistry behind this because I did barely just get out of high school. So it says that it stabilizes fuel, it removes gums and varnish, it helps prevent phase separation. And I'm going to say that the phase separation part of the equation is really what you're in it for. Mm-hmm. So all the other things, horseshit. The reality is that 2 bottles treats 12 gallons. Mm-hmm. It costs $8,
Right.
okay, to treat 12 gallons of gasoline. If it works...
Which, if you're buying non-ethanol gas, is about almost $4 a gallon.
Exactly.
Right.
About $3.50, $4 a gallon. That's exactly right.
Right.
This shit does contain petroleum distillates. Yeah. It is that thing. I caution anyone to buy this product because it does come from Florida. Make your own judgments.
Home of mullets.
Again, Florida.
Yeah, but it
I'm a
works.
fan of
though.
seafoam. I use
Seafoam is another thing.
all the time.
And you can
Seafoam's
look it
alright.
up. You can make your own seafoam.
645, yeah, 645.
Yeah.
It absorbs water. That
Right.
that stuff. I did those tests
Right.
years
Exactly.
ago.
You did.
That,
You tried it.
That absorbs water.
Yep.
That increases your holding capacity by 10%.
I agree.
Like roughly 5 to 10%
Yep.
of the holding capacity of the gas.
Exactly.
It increases the holding capacity of water in the gas by 5
So
to 10%.
the thing is if you can get gas, so if it's the reason that I went out of my way to buy gas at a place that sells
That's the real deal.
non-ethanol gas.
Yeah.
They sell 100% gas, and
Yeah.
you pay a premium for
Yes,
it.
you
You
do.
pay $4 a gallon.
Yep.
You are starting ahead of the game by not having
That is
ethanol in
that's
your
the
gas.
game. If you said one thing, the one thing I could tell you to do is get thee to a place where you can buy gasoline that doesn't have the bad shit in it. So if you
Wait a second. Maybe the
Yes, John.
mistake
Yep.
is that we're having gas
Yeah.
in our ethanol. Mm-hmm. Why
That's
don't we
true,
just
too.
run all alcohol?
Just
motors?
run it fucking let's just admit
So it
the
really
fact that
absorb water.
we
Bore
super
out our-
duper
We'll bore out our main jet, bore out our pilot
Yep.
jet, 40% over.
absolutely.
We'll convert all of our bikes to fucking alcohol.
Yep.
We'll build a still in our backyard.
That's right. We'll go from 40 mpg to 28 mpg, but it'll be cheaper to get there.
Yeah, we just got to grow some
Will it be
corn.
cheaper though? Because you're going to
Corn liquor?
use
Well, this is the point.
more than twice the gallons of alcohol to do it.
And you're going to use more than 4 times the amount of water to create it.
100% sustainable, though.
Again, this is
You use
all
the
a great
same amount
argument.
of energy that's created to create it.
Right.
So
This is true.
what kind of society burns its own
Whoa,
fuel?
whoa,
I mean,
whoa,
food.
whoa, 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 whoa.
But
Stupid.
okay, but hold
Whoa,
on.
whoa, 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 whoa. Back the truck
Back
up.
the truck up, dude. We're
First
just
of
trying to
all-
make America great again, motherfucker.
We should make America great. You should eat more cornbread. Eat more cornbread.
Cornbread.
Fuck that
You can
smell
eat
of
it. You
gas.
can burn it. You can put it in your car. Cornbread. It's the answer for all life's problems.
And I
Cornbread.
can
Ain't
plant
nothing
a
wrong
field
with
of
that.
Corn by hand, and I don't burn any alcohol. I can be an Amish person.
That's true.
and I
But
can
you know
go.
how hard corn is on the soil. You're better off to grow. You're better off to grow a field of hemp.
Also,
I like that. I like that. I was
gonna say that.
Then you
I'm
can
willing to
afford
meet you
to-
halfway on that one.
Well, no, you can crush the seeds for
Right.
oil, and you could run diesels off of it, and then you'd be much better off.
I drink
I'm
hemp milk.
man. All right.
I dip my Oreos. I'm sorry. I dip my Aldi Oreos
Testicles.
because they're not Oreos. I love the Aldi Oreos, but I dip my Aldi Oreos in hemp milk. You know what?
Hey.
They're delicious. Yeah.
And I dip those into my weed milk. So
dip my balls in
fine
it.
with that,
That's it.
too.
Yeah.
I dip those into my milkweed.
Yes, I mean, not to ruin a goddamn thing, but I'm not joking when I'm going to say
Sorry,
this.
that
was really
You
brilliant.
turned off my microphone.
Yeah, that was great. Steve did not have a chance to reach up and
Oh,
kill
no.
that. That was so fucking great. So
I don't know if anybody's noticed this, but
Yeah.
the Kabassian crowd has reached critical mass.
no, it's reached a critical
We can all
ass. is what it's
smell
done.
that it's ready to go.
Don't worry, we'll get it and post it.
No open flames at all. Yeah, this will be the first natural gas powered podcast.
and hemp, whatever. Let's get some
Everything.
John's gonna be over here fracking his ass off. Yeah, that's it. John, what if I had a really long straw and I could take some of your milkshake?
Kromke, it's all good. This is a part of
Way to go. Kromke brought the thunder.
Give me some of that devil water.
Oh, do you have a bifurcated penis? Well,
We
you're
are
about to.
at 2 hours and 13 minutes.
We've gone long.
It's
Okay.
like two cockheads.
I think we should release our podcast listeners back to their lives. I'm sorry this one went off the rails. Not really.
sorry.
No, this is proof
Yeah.
that audio quality does not deter us from being stupid.
See, you don't need the old episodes. We got
No.
new shit.
We're gonna make new-
Fuck that.
We're gonna build all new failure for you.
Here's to onward and upward.
Onward and
Onward and upward.
Yeah, here's your can. Off you fuck. That's it. Yeah, that's all I got. I did want to call attention to this. Last call for the Cleveland Moto logo contest.
Oh, yeah. How's that going?
It's going pretty good.
Nice.
We've had a couple of people that are overachievers. God bless their fucking hearts, because we got some art out of those dudes, and we do have product, and we got presents we're giving out. We have prizes that we're giving out in the form of helmets and good shit. Really good helmets that have like MIPS systems in them. So we want you to be safe. We want you to have a helmet that's going to not just protect you from impact, but rotation as well. So we're going to be offering some MIPS helmets to people that do give us artwork that we can use to make the very next Cleveland Moto Podcast logo, T-shirts, etc.
Nice. And after December 30th,
Yeah.
if the doctor agrees with me, if somebody actually offers a really good Patreon thing,
Yeah.
I might be able to offer my old hip.
Oh, you're going to offer up your old hip?
My old hip, yeah.
I think you should keep your old hip.
No.
We
no,
can
you
make some split pea soup with the fucking.
Oh, that's right. Human split pea soup. Oh, my God.
That's a
I'd
lord
be
of
more than willing to fucking cure and smoke that motherfucker.
Soylent Sleepy.
bone soup again.
Dude, that's fucking, that's seriously fucking hell.
Hertzfeld disease.
And on that note,
Oh man, no. Okay, but on that note, guys, I gotta salute. This is like the old episodes of Hee Haw.
yeah.
Salute. Right. Thank you.
Sorry.
Way to go. Salute. Our Patreon page has exploded. I gotta say, I'm humbled.
I searched the world over and thought I found true love, and
You met another,
And she was gone.
No, our Patreon guys, you guys fucking kill me. You're slaying me. Patreon cats that showed up and have joined the
I wanted to
hotline.
ask, did you get any calls to the bat line?
The bat line is on fuego.
Yes.
We are on fleek. It is seriously, it is disruptive. Okay, we did give out the bat phone number. If you're a $10 a month subscriber on Patreon, we've done it. We have actually done it. We've given you fucking mutants this phone number. And it turns out we love you because you are truly fucking broken people. And okay, I love this. Okay, first thing,
you turn
best
that down, please?
best way to keep my Moto Guzzi Breva's wheels off the ground for winter. Will the old milk crate method work, or is there something special you'd recommend?
Yes.
No, milk crate method works great.
I can't think of anything
Right,
better.
can't argue with a fucking milk crate.
Two
Next.
or one?
Bonus points if you stole it. Bonus points if it says "Thou shalt not steal" on the milk crate.
Everyone does.
It's not
Okay.
one milk crate per wheel. It's on the middle.
That's right
Yeah,
up there with
yeah.
assless chaps.
Right.
For milk.
All chaps are
Oh, yeah.
assless, or else they'd be pants.
But some are sexier.
This is also true. Yeah, there have been some actions that I'd like to say. This has been okay. Great.
Are you getting voicemails or
We are
just
getting
texts?
texts. Thank God we're getting.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Thank God.
They figured out they can send you
Getting
pictures.
texts.
Oh,
One guy
fix-
says, "I'm about to buy a motorcycle," and that say that there's setup fees. They're like assembly fees, PDI fees, etc. Can I tell them I'm going to assemble it myself and save the money on those fees?
No.
Sure, you can, but they
And-
won't listen to you.
And no.
No, right.
If they're charging them, you're going to pay them. If they're setting your bike up, which they're going to, because the state wants to make sure that you ride a bike that the wheels aren't going to fall off of. Because
You might want to
believe
give
me,
your dealership
not
a
Walmart.
chance to put a mile or two on it to make sure it's not a fucking dud
Yep.
before you get it.
Yeah. And the biggest thing, and I'm not joking around one bit. If something goes horribly wrong, your family's going to sue that dealership. Okay? And you want them to be able to get a check. But if you set that fucker up yourself,
Make sure you write the
You're done,
check out
dude.
ahead of time and sign it.
that is also true. So yeah, I totally approve of that. So yeah, the people are straight up. The people are sending us some good shit. I dig it. The biggest thing was like, how come my lithium battery requires a special charger? I didn't have to upgrade the bike's electrical system. No, you didn't, because the bike is going to be charging your lithium battery
right way.
through the voltage regulator. It's going to be pulsing up to tops at about 14.4. Your lithium battery should never go above 15 volts. And when you have an Optimate or a battery tender or, a Harbor Freight thing, it's going to charge up to like 15.5, 16 volts. And lithiums are super not happy about being like trying to be set on fire. Because it turns out lithium, when it gets too excited, makes a little volcano in your garage where your motorcycle used to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's
So
something about cell phones exploding and catching on fire.
Samsung, baby, Samsung. Can't get on the airplane unless you got like at least a Samsung like 8 or 9 now, right? So yeah, that's a big deal. So I dig it. The people that are blowing my phone up on the
Kind of jealous.
yeah, the people that are blowing our
bat
bat phone up,
line.
the bat phone, the hotline, our Patreons are blowing it up and sending us stuff. And you know, if you're listening to the podcast, and you want to chime in. Yeah, we're gonna shout your shit out. And a lot of the shit we shouted out today was all because of people that did in fact say, "I listened to your podcast, but you're not good enough, and I think you can be better if you take my suggestion."
Huzzah.
Get dude.
How insane can
Reach
a
out and
question
give 'em a tug, man.
How insane can a question be?
Well, again, we still do not have anyone recommending the gold. I was going to say, we still don't have anybody recommending the gold level Patreon supporter yet, which we don't know what that's going to be. So we haven't written the gold level supporter.
Let's all chip in.
Okay,
I gotta know.
this is true. We got to know exactly how fast can this train go. You know, we're just going to keep adding coal until it just goes away, and that's about the game. I've been having fun with it. The video angle, I don't know what's going to happen with that. That's bizarre.
We have 1 minute or about 3
I'm
minutes.
trying to hide
of
behind my
interesting-
microphone.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to see me. I don't want
Hide
anybody to know
behind
what
your
I
motor.
actually look like.
You're going to try to hide all of that behind that
Daniel
microphone.
has a magic.
Nobody can see me right
He's been
now.
able to slide back.
Magically
past-
disappear.
Oh, Kromke's
So he should probably
fading back.
slide in and
Yeah.
like give a smile.
He's going to be
Just
setting
do
on the
chin.
V7 Racer.
Give us
That's
the
exactly
chin
it.
bird.
Right.
That's it.
The chin beard.
The fuzz.
But that's about it.
Yeah, this podcast has been sponsored by Beard Oil. No, not really. It should be. I don't know. Beard grease.
Kibasi
basically.
oil.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, Kibasi oil.
So wait,
Yeah.
wait. Before we end,
We're going to be pounding some mad tube steak here in about a minute.
Malort.
For the Patreons.
Malort is one of my favorites.
Yes.
How does this all fare? Starting in my left with Phil, who's leaving the room, so he can't answer.
Walking away. All right.
So Phil, Malort,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Malort.
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 Describe it in 2 words.
Malort.
That's one word.
Malort.
It's still
That's still
Hold
one
on.
word.
Let
2 words.
let it settle.
He's got a steep.
Malort.
Okay. Oscar, Malort.
2 words.
2 words.
I like, oh man.
There you go.
fucking good.
Oh man.
Michael, Malort.
Brady's ceiling.
Brady Sealing.
Brady
John.
Sealing.
Malort, I just bit into a 9-volt battery.
Okay.
Well, all right.
Steve, Malort.
I've had it before, so it's piss water.
Piss water. There you go.
Well, Lord, fuck this.
Fuck this.
Malort. It tastes like cyclocross.
It does Malort.
There you go. All right.
Okay, so this is a shout out to somebody who we actually do believe in. His name is John Delvecchio. John Delvecchio has been doing Street Skills LLC, and this is something that is straight up legit. He's the guy who's taken what we talked about when we talked about trail braking. We talked about try it, you'll like it. Try it, trail braking. It's like
Delvecchio seems very familiar. We talked about him on
oh,
another podcast.
and he's a Moto Guzzi rider too.
Okay.
So that also proves he's the most interesting man
I
in
just
the room.
that magazine that we got
Yeah.
from him and everything about
Yeah.
the I just threw that in the garbage.
Hey,
I'd read it. I mean, I finally have been through it. and everything.
here's the game, and this is really what it comes down to. When somebody's got a great idea, when somebody's trying to actually help and not just fuck around with microphones or just sit and like, we're drunk, pay attention to us. I got a microphone, you don't. You got to listen to my shit. Okay, here's the game. He started this thing now, and we're going to talk about it for a second, that he's got basically got a course. Go figure. He's got this course, and he's doing an online course that's based on the Cornering Confidence book. I'm going to say straight up, go to Street Skills. And it's not spelled weird. It's not like a millennial thing where it's like 4 L's and 2 Z's and shit like that. It's not like Street Skills with an extra K. Right, exactly. It's not just like, it's not just like a QR code that you have to use your camera to get. No, it's straight up. This is a real deal. You do need to go to Street Skills. John at streetskills.net. The Cornering Confidence book, learning how to trail brake, learning how to use the front end of the motorcycle to help change your direction and slow it down and give you control, actually fucking makes sense. And the more you do it, the more you're going to like it. And it's going to be like the second chapter of your motorcycle fun. It's going to be like, look, there was a time when I was a motorcycle idiot, and then I actually got good at it. And then once I got good at it, it made taking corners a lot more fun. It made it a lot more interesting. And I'm going to say I got penalized in the motorcycle skills test for the police department because I was using my front brake.
That's a question I have for you.
We'll talk about it later if you want to, but I was using a technique. So I was using a modern technique to give myself an advantage in a skills test. And because the particular test is set up in a way that the training is a little more antiquated or a little more traditional, my results were better, but I was told that what I was doing wasn't the way they like to do it. But I'm going to tell you, my results were way fucking better. So the trail braking thing, the front brake in the turns, brake leg in the turn, whatever you want to call it, it works really, really good.
When are you doing the rodeo?
What's that?
Rodeo.
I didn't do a rodeo, but I did a test. So I did a qualification. So I already did that.
That's not what I asked you.
No, there's a rodeo, but we'll see. That's next year. What I did now.
So next year you'll be doing the rodeo.
I haven't put a for sale.
I'm not asking. I'm fucking telling because we want to all see you.
Well, John,
we can keep it on the down low.
No, you don't need to keep it on the down low.
I'm happy to show up drunk.
I'm happy to fall over in front of all of you fuckers, as you well know.
I want to see. I would be very proud of you. I know.
Define pride, but
you can take out a bunch of cones and shit. The fact that you even
I'll take out more cones than Dairy Queen, motherfucker.
The fact that you even showed up.
It is.
We can get some great footage.
Believe me. The great footage.
You must do this.
The great footage is not doing it on the Road King. The great footage is doing that exact course, but doing it on like a Vespa. Because that is, I'm going to say, I think that because remember in the 60s and 70s, police departments used to use Vespas. Right? As like meter-maid bikes and ticket-writing bikes and shit like that. And I argue that since that was at one point an authorized police vehicle, that you should be able to use that in the motorcycle skills competition.
Crush them.
Yes, you fucking would crush them. And I think more power to you. Show up on a goddamn Vespa or Lambretta with fucking police written down the side of it and to do the goddamn skills course. And do the skills course with all the cones on a fucking Vespa or Lambretta. And I think I know what's going to happen. You're going to destroy the course. You're going to win harder than anyone's ever going to win before. And everyone else is just going to go, yeah, but mine's louder.
Have bigger pipes.
No, they're going to say, you cheated.
Exactly.
But I won.
Yeah, I won. And I did it with more style. So that's the real thing is like, it is way better to be victorious on a fucking like vintage 60s Vespa than it is to be like, oh yeah, I use the thing everybody uses. Yeah. Oh, dude, if you go out and win NASCAR in a fucking Nash Metropolitan, you're my goddamn hero.
I just feel like I have higher expectations from you. I expect you to go out there and practice for less than a year and go out and win the championship. I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
Dude. And at 2 hours and 27 minutes.
I know. Hey, what do you want for this price point? All right. And remember, guys, always ride fast and take chances. Push the button, Phil. Push the button. Push the button.